You're Frank.
And you're Frank.
And together we are Frankly Speaking.
Your party at the door, bring it open mind. Oh, mind. Pass the sound bites, truth where we explore. Frankly Speaking, that's what this mic is for. Frankly Speaking, let's go open the door. Frankly Speaking, you can't ask for more. Frankly Speaking.
We're on. Hey, folks. Welcome to the Friday edition of Frankly
Speaking.
You're Frank?
And you're Frank.
I am.
Together we are.
Frankly Speaking.
There you go.
So,
It gets better every time, I
oh
think.
boy, I think so. But I'm waiting for us to actually get in unison on
Oh,
that,
well,
too.
we did it in the
We did, and then all of a sudden it dropped
we
out.
forgot.
Man, oh man, some wild week. We talked about this last week. Last week was a wild week. Now we got another wild week.
Yeah.
And it all stems around Bridget again.
Once again,
Bridget.
she steals the show.
Bridget.
Brigavelli.
Bridget.
Hey.
There's Bridget, right?
Yeah, there she is.
Guys.
Hey, Bridget went down to the city.
Yes.
You want
Yeah.
to tell a little bit about that?
Yeah. So last night I performed at a venue called the Cutting Room.
Mm-hmm.
It was a beautiful venue. I've never been there before. From my understanding, it's like a jazz house. They kind of do like a soul kind of vibe. Last night it was a little bit geared more towards R&B. There was a lot of R&B artists in the house. There's a lot of great producers, big names, people who've got some Grammy nominations, Grammy Awards, and so it was an honor to be there. Yeah. Was that our doorbell?
Ding
And,
dong. Avon calling.
They're selling
love it.
vacuums.
What's going on here?
Yeah, so
So it was an interesting experience. It's hard as a musical artist to be involved in showcases, but I was honored to be there. I worked hard on the song that I created, and it kind of goes 50-50. I was debating, like I was saying before, whether I was going to really discuss the raw version of what happened or if I was going
Right.
to, just be humble and
you
just
can
make
get
sure.
you can get
know?
like a medium rare if you want to.
Yeah, so I'll just briefly say it. It's hard for an artist to share the stage with a ton of artists. We put a lot of work into our music. We get on stage, we might get one or two songs to showcase ourselves, which doesn't always fully express. And you got to wait for a few hours. You have to pay your dues, and I understand that in any industry it's like that.
Right.
But in the end, I would say I feel great that I got good content. I feel
Right.
great that I had a great support system there with me, and I got to show people my music. And I felt that I had good feedback.
Right.
Sometimes the sound can be an issue. I've been to a lot of showcases where the sound can just make or break you. You won't get a follower because of the sound. And maybe you practiced, but the rest of the team didn't follow up.
Right. Or there's some little glitch that kind of has a tendency to
Yes.
throw you off. Back when I was in, remember with Fat Babies down in the city? And then there was a second one, which I don't even remember the name of. And that was like 40 degrees in the building at that time.
Oh, wow.
It was crazy. And, but it was funny because at Fat Babies, we had a rat run across the floor.
Okay.
And
sounds like New York
that actually
experience.
worked to my advantage because I kept playing right through it, and I ended up with third place in that whole thing, which was crazy.
You improvised. You
Yeah,
threw
well-
that rat right into your song.
Right, and I sang some lyrics that
What
went
the
that way. No, it was crazy. It was crazy.
Everybody-
I was not
Screaming.
expecting that.
It's true. We'll
rat.
I believe
we'll bring
it.
the footage up to prove it.
You know,
I
Frank,
believe that.
yeah, you had said something to me earlier today, though, about how the city, like people have this big thing about the city and they use that, about how
Oh,
you
yeah.
think
Yeah.
how like the city, it's like, oh, because it's in the city, it's
Right.
great, it's better. You even hear people when you're out of town, where are you from? Oh, Poughkeepsie. Oh, that's upstate.
Yeah.
It's like, it's not the city.
You're not the city.
Yeah, like
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
not New York anymore or
It's-
something. We're
yeah.
still here in New York.
But so like, I was
the
at
city,
that venue.
The city, it's like a circus. Once you get past the Emperor's New Clothes or the Wizard of Oz, and you look behind the curtain, it's like, oh man, this
We're
is
all the
just
same.
a bunch of people
It's the
trying to
same
make
thing.
a show, and the only thing is they have the venue in the city. And when you get down to like your aspect of this whole thing,
Yeah.
trying to get to the point where you got a decent song going, and then somebody throws a little monkey wrench in the plan. It's funny because they, I remember hearing the guy saying, "Oh well, you only got you can only do one song. I say, well,
Yeah.
I know.
after somebody
She came
does
all
like
the way
5
down
or
here.
6
Yeah.
songs,
All week long,
it's
got
like,
ready.
oh my God.
Yeah.
So it kind of, and then there's just a little bit of that apprehension of like moving at a pace that you think you need to move at only because that's what they told you.
Right.
It's crazy.
Yeah, there's obviously a lot of favoritism in the industry in general,
Right.
and that's
Oh,
totally
yeah.
fine. You expect that. I mean, they don't know me, and I don't expect to have any handouts or anything like that. But I do expect to have a certain amount of respect that we traveled a few hours to get there. We traveled a few hours to get back. I worked very hard on the music. We spend the money there. You know, it just it takes a certain level of commitment to just be there in general.
Right.
Just, you're going to cut me down even, you're going to cut my songs down to even one song, just give me the 2 minutes and 30 seconds I'm asking for. I
Right.
don't, you know?
Right.
You already
and then
cut
you
me
can
down
do the
once.
best you can with what
Right.
you got.
Yeah, and that's all that I'm asking.
And
Don't,
sometimes
you're
that
already
starts
rushing
off-
me. Come
That
on.
starts off whack because
And you
you're
do it
s-
on the microphone. You
Right.
guys saw the live. He did it
Right.
right on the microphone.
I couldn't believe. I'm so glad I recorded that. Actually,
I am too.
because it made us realize
What
when
do you
we
do
talked
on the
about it.
microphone?
He went on the mic and he's like, after a big long set from somebody, I think that
She
he
did a
might
whole
favor.
album. It was crazy.
Yeah. He had me come up next. All right, next artist need to hurry up. You got one song, keep it moving, keep it moving. Who's the next artist? Now
Yeah,
I
right,
walk
right.
on stage kind of feeling like a fool.
Yeah, who's
Like-
this? Who's this
Yeah,
outsider?
I know.
Yeah. Like, why are you even here? Hurry
It
up.
reminded me of
Right.
the Eminem movie, the 8 Mile,
Right.
right? Because I'm going to tell you, every other artist was a black artist, and then you have Bridget there in all, like basically like a soul club, and I didn't really think of it that way because I have a hard time relating to like the races. I don't look at color, so it doesn't matter if I'm in a room with black people, white people, whatever.
Right.
But when she mentioned it to me, she's like, the way he talked to her and treated her, and I thought about it, and I'm like, no, really? And she's like, yeah. It's like, and then
No,
I
I
realized
felt it.
the girl before
saw
him,
it.
the girl before her was like, first of all, she was singing over a track. It
Yeah.
wasn't even her voice. Like,
Yeah.
and she was all auto-tuned and everything else. And I'm
boy.
like, Bridget doesn't use any of that stuff.
Right,
What was she? Was she pulling a Milli Vanilli?
It was probably her song
and
in the
half.
studio,
Yeah.
like
Right.
recorded.
Oh, but she was lip syncing, was it?
well, she sang
She
with
was
it.
singing
a little
over
bit.
the
She
vocals.
was
Over
like
the
doubling
track.
up or so.
Yeah.
She was
Okay.
yeah, it was doubling up.
Got it.
She had all the support in the world right on the vocals. You know, so
Okay.
if you just ride the vocals, you will never know what's
Yeah, what's
the
hers and what's
difference.
Right,
not.
right.
But it was like you can hear the auto tune. You know when you can hear the auto tune,
Yeah, it
it's
was
like that
heavy. Yeah.
heavy auto tune. And I'm not even a singer, artist, anything like that. But that's the first thing I said, and I was kept thinking they just told her she can sing a song, one song. She cut
Right.
it down
Right,
to
right,
two,
right.
which is hard in a singer like her because the song she chose is a new song. It's a
Yeah.
hot song, but it
Right.
doesn't show her vocals.
Yeah.
So like now she's like, wait a minute, do I sing a different song in case somebody's in the audience to say, hey, look, we like her vocal. We know she can hit these notes
Yeah. Right,
and everything else because that's only one song out of
Yeah, I got
3,000.
2 minutes to showcase myself to a
Yeah.
bunch of people in that room.
Right.
You already cut me down.
Well, I mean, it's a matter of time. You got your own fan base.
Yeah.
It'd be nice if you
It's
could bring them
growing
all with you.
It's
It's
getting much
growing,
bigger.
yeah.
So
So,
yeah, it's amazing.
I got a copy. of it.
Thank you.
I got a copy of it.
that.
I bought my copy,
I appreciate it.
and I want to get more.
That's
Thank
awesome.
you. Thank you. Yeah.
So
But yeah, that's it. That's what happened.
I wanted to say hello to Monica. She's here,
Hi, Monica.
Hi.
and she's got something to say, right? You must have something.
You got
I have
you got
a
your
prayer.
stuff. Well,
Oh,
should
you
we
got
go-
our
Not to
prayer.
take up too much time
Actually,
today.
yeah, let's get
All right,
that.
that's
let's do
good.
that. So
I want
before
to
we
do
do
that.
anything else,
So
Yes.
this way it creates the
We'll all.
vibe
And-
for the night.
and then make it clear it's not about any specific religion.
It's ecumenical.
No,
I
as they
wanna
say.
I'm not very religious, and I mean a lot of people aren't, but we respect every religion. We all want to be fair. We're all people. So
Whoever you address.
Are
in
you
your
spiritual
time,
but not really?
I'd say I'm very spiritual.
Yeah.
I do believe in spiritual because I feel like
can
there's
feel it.
feelings. I can feel
Wind
things.
beneath your wings. and
I mean,
stuff.
I can look at people and read their soul. I feel like.
right, and that's so you understand the
That's
soul.
heavy.
You understand
yeah.
the soul aspect,
And
you know
it's-
your pops is out there. You know my pops is out
I can
there.
feel him.
So
When
it's not like you're-
just
you're
saying him right now. It's like I feel it. So,
atheistic per se.
yeah.
Yeah, I have a little story. I've had a rough day, rough week, but so I was kind of like dragging my ass into the store, and my favorite song went on when I got in there. And then as I'm checking out, the song that your dad used to sing all the time with the crew
Oh yeah, yeah.
came
okay.
on as I was checking out. So I was like, thanks, John. He's always got my back with
He
that
did.
song.
He
every
loves
time
you.
I'm having
Yeah.
every time I'm having a rough time. So that's how he shows me.
That's awesome.
He's there. So
So,
anyway,
let's hear that prayer.
The way I address my spiritual creator is divine creator. You use whatever you want, but the intention is to come from the heart, wherever that means to you. So divine creator, help us to be wise in our relationships and mindful of our words and actions. Give us the grace to forgive easily and to encourage one another. Calm our hearts when we feel the urge for conflict, and fill us with a desire for understanding and reconciliation. Help us to see each other through your eyes and replace anger with love and peace. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. You know, and like I said, it's like I enjoy doing that. It's been a long time. I remember sometimes with dinners and stuff like that, you get a lot of family together, you come do grace, and I was never a big person of it, but I actually felt that. That was cool. Thank you. I appreciate that.
I'm not a big
nice.
person. I was never a big person about prayer. I didn't really know how to pray until I started doing some healing sessions and learning about healing modalities. And then one of the biggest ones that I do is the ancestral clearing, and that's a big forgiveness prayer.
Nice.
And it really
Nice.
Oh,
sheds
boy.
a lot of
We got a lot of people that
baggage.
can use some of that.
So it was great to learn the prayer.
Well, so Bridget, you have some community news and some great stuff to share, right?
Yeah, so I have just a few things. I'll make it short because we have a big show today. So Stuff the Truck event, that's tomorrow and Sunday. So it's Saturday and Sunday. We're going to be at the Stop and Shop supermarket, which is on 44. And it's right behind Mag Auto.
What time is that?
It's from 10 to 2. We'll be starting setup around 9 o'clock. So anybody who wants to come, please come there at that time. We're going to set up tables. We're going to be collecting food to build the baskets. So it's uncooked baskets. We'll get to the part where there'll be cooked baskets. Information on that will come out soon. But just to also touch on November 1st, the link for Thanksgiving will be coming out if you need a basket. So just look out for that November 1st. And if you have any questions, you can call Paula, 845-546-9271.
Can you just give that one more time?
Yeah, 845-546-9271.
Nice.
Yeah, just
Where's
in
that
regards to
link?
Thanksgiving.
The
So,
link you're talking about.
That's going to come out November 1st.
Where?
It'll come out on Frankie Flowers' Facebook.
Page.
And then we'll share. There'll be a bunch of people probably sharing it
Yeah.
and helping.
And there'll be a cooked or uncooked basket,
Yeah.
and then on Thanksgiving Day we do cooked meals.
Yeah.
So if you can do a hot meal already prepared for you and everything
Yes.
else, but we started the uncooked thing because my father had always did it at the lunchbox and that's Dan Hickey, by the way, is the one who supplies all the food for that, and he gets it cooked for us down at Fuel for Life now with Marshall down in the old IBM in Fishkill. But he's done it because of his wife. His wife had done it for many years, and after she passed, he kept up the tradition, and he did it with my father, and then my sister and I continue doing it, and it's a great thing. We added, since my father had passed, I added delivery, especially since when COVID happened, we had to start doing delivery because they wouldn't even allow people in the building. But I will say last year we did close to 1,800 cooked meals,
Yeah.
and we did about 1,400 baskets.
That's right.
And we're looking for people to come out. If you want to, if you could stop by Stop and Shop, it'd be great. Saturday or Sunday, drop off some cans, whatever it is, turkey, stuffing, potatoes, any of that stuff. We have a tractor trailer to fill. That's going to be at Mag. We're going to fill it all up, and then we'll be handing it out. It's always the Sunday before Thanksgiving, so it's the 23rd this month, and then the 27th is Thanksgiving. Or not this month, November.
Next month, yeah.
And then we'll be doing the cooked meals at the underwear factory. We'll be handing those out from like 9 to 12. So we're doing with that.
Yeah.
I want to be part of the distribution this year.
Yeah, I'd love
Oh,
that.
good.
We
Like
need
last
we need
year.
more. I just
That's
met some people
fun.
today.
Are we going to ride shot? I'm going to
He
ride
tagged
shot
along a couple
Deliver
of
off.
times.
What's
Yeah.
because I would like to be part of that whole deal.
Yeah. So I just got one more thing. It's kind of community news. It's also just like it's an AI thing I thought was kind of funny. So I saw this trend on TikTok, Instagram, stuff like that. It kept going. It's called the homeless man prank. So you take a picture of your home, and AI puts a homeless man in the picture, and then you send it to your husband or you send it to your family, and you tell them, this guy, he wants to come in the house. Should I let him in? And the husband, he writes back, no, don't do that. don't let him in. And then the next picture is on the couch, okay? And the homeless man's laid out on the couch, and it looks so realistic. Now, it's happening all over. So the police...
That's
the
telling me there's,
weirdest thing.
Wait.
ever.
there's some
I'm
trouble
not done.
going on there.
I'm not done. So after that, and the pictures are so realistic. It's incredibly real. So now the problem is that they're getting all these 911 calls. So the police are coming out to everybody's house thinking that these people are at the doors.
God.
And
So we need people to stop doing
so they're
this.
putting an announcement out like,
Enough
please
with the
stop
the
doing
police have
homeless
enough to
parade.
take care of. Believe me, they're
kind of
they're
funny,
usually
but
knocking
it's
on my door. So
I almost tried it on you because I was like, it's
Oh my
so
God.
realistic.
Oh,
But
Please.
you
boy.
would come home so
Oh, man.
fast. I would be scared.
That would be. Yeah, I'd be scared. I'd be scared 2 towns over.
I know.
no,
So,
we're
yeah.
nice people.
Oh, we are. We are. We.
Until
And so
there's
we're
a man
not.
in the house.
Yeah. Well,
Don't
yeah.
do that.
Yeah, if there's a man in the house, things might change a little.
But I thought it was funny because I saw it. I'm like, how funny would that be? But knowing you, I'm like, it wouldn't
no.
be that funny.
No, but
Yeah, no.
that's a no-no. Yeah, good job.
Yeah.
All right.
But
Tough
that's
to
my
read that, people.
news.
All right. So that's good. So that wraps that up. We're gonna
So, Bridget,
Yeah.
you're gonna take a hiatus now.
Yes, I'm
yeah,
happy to
we're
be
gonna
here,
introduce our
guys.
We're
guest.
sending Bridget
Yes.
out of the room,
I
and
will
we've
go
got.
get our
I'm gonna let
special
Frankie.
You want me to introduce this guy?
I think we're gonna have a shift where we're gonna play musical chair. Oh, wait a minute, is he actually gonna
sit
sit?
there.
Yeah, he's gonna sit there. He's got his slaps up there.
Oh, I see. He needs the room.
We got a good friend. Actually, he's a good friend of mine and Frank's. Actually, he's a good friend of a lot of people. This guy has shared a lot of information, and he's helped a lot of people. More than once, I'm sure people have came up to him and said, "Thank you very much because you've saved our children's lives." You know, if not our whole family's dynamic. And here he is, Antonio Mazzarelli.
Antonio.
I love the intro. You're good for my ego.
Yes, sir.
Can you go on?
But it's so true. And I mean, when we talked the other day and you said that someone had flagged you down and said, you know, talking about the truck and, you know,
It was right here on
What
Park
an
Avenue.
idiot.
on Park, yeah. So you had said it, and I was like, wow, that's amazing. You know, and I'm honestly, I feel as though you're the reason why I'm so gung ho about our child not getting the vaccines. Because I tried it with my son that's 5 or he's 6 now, and I brought his mother to your house, and you showed me some videos, and when I saw the video of the twins, it was like there was 2 kids that they brought in, and like one at a time, and they like lost their everything behind their eyes, and that was enough for me. And then there was so much more compelling evidence after that. But I'm gonna let you take over a little bit and tell them a little bit about what's going on, and like. Maybe even let's start with the question of like, why do you drive around with that truck? With that, you know, if you haven't seen it,
Why are you so darn passionate?
let's.
How did you get started?
We got all these questions, so
I like
What are you doing here?
They're all generally the same question.
yeah.
So the reason I drive around the truck is, well, in 2019, you know, they changed the laws in New York.
Okay.
They removed the religious exemption of vaccination. And when they did that, they threw all my kids out of school. All my kids, all my nieces, all my nephews, all of them out of school.
Because none of them were vaccinated.
None of that's on the Mazzarelli side, right? Not my wife's side.
Okay.
On the Mazzarelli side, they're all thrown out. And I will say this: every child thrown out of Spanghill High School was named Mazzarelli.
Oh, okay.
It
Wow.
was only our family.
So one question: your kids right now that are not vaccinated,
Correct.
do any of them have any diseases to this day that you know about,
Yeah, they're
or sicknesses that are chronic diseases?
my oldest has allergies.
Okay, he has allergies to what?
My oldest has allergies to shellfish.
Shellfish.
Yep, he has allergies to shellfish.
Sorry about
And
that.
if you look at, you know, you got to look at just not a couple people, but people in a whole. And the unvaccinated, and I say this online almost every day. I say to people, okay, prove me wrong. Every single vaccinated versus completely unvaccinated study ever done in the United States shows that the unvaccinated enjoy much better overall health, period, full stop. And I go into these pro-vaccine groups, like as pro-vaccine as you can get, and I make those kinds of statements. And they call me all sorts of names, and they send all sorts of stuff out. But we know what they never do? They never show me a vax versus complete unvax study that where the
Ever.
vaccinated are healthy ever in the United States. It doesn't exist.
How's that possible?
Frank, what's going on is nuts. And so back to why I drive the truck.
Yeah. Let's get.
So I don't forget.
We're gonna go all over the place.
because I will be all over the place.
Yeah.
So they throw all my kids out of school, right? So what do? So my wife and I are in bed one night, and I got to give a shout out to my brother Johnny.
Oh, I thought you were gonna give a shout out to your wife for being in bed with you.
I was going to say this show was not supposed to go that direction.
We're not going there.
We were making more children.
So my brother Johnny, by the way, you know him.
Yeah,
Biggest heart
I
in
love
the
John
world,
Mazzarelli.
right? He's got the biggest heart in the world, and because of him, he's the one who told us, "Hey, listen, you got to stay away from vaccines. They're bad for you. Right? They do far more harm than good." Okay. My brother-in-law is a medical doctor, right? He has nothing but the best intentions for my kids too, and he said, hey, "Listen, get the vaccines. They're good." Okay. So in my family, I had people who were well-educated, well-intentioned, who said one thing, who are on both sides of the issue.
They're both very intelligent people.
And if you would have asked me before 2019, I would have said, Frank, I got family on both sides. You pick. So my wife and I are in bed, and it was 2019, and they were going to throw all our kids out of school. And she's like, so what are we going to do now? Are we going to vaccinate these kids, right? Because her mentality always was, hey, we can always vaccinate them later, right? We can't unvaccinate them. We can always vaccinate them later. So she kind of went with what I was, she was okay with basically not vaccinating them, right? So now it was time to make a decision. And here's a point I want to make sure that everybody realizes, okay? My brother, Johnny, if my children get measles and they're part of the rare people who are injured by a vaccine preventable disease, my brother doesn't have to live with that decision. I do, okay? And if I get my kids vaccinated and my child is vaccine injured, my brother-in-law doesn't have to deal with my children. I do. Right? And that's the one thing I want to tell every parent, everybody listening. It is not your doctor's decision what happens to your kids. It's yours. It is not your brother's. It's not your brother-in-law's. It's nobody but yours. Right? And I made sure that I looked because I said, you know what? Forget my brother. Forget my brother-in-law. I'm looking. And when you look, you will be shocked. And I was so shocked, I created a PowerPoint. We're going to share some today. Perfect. But they throw my kids out of school. I looked. No way I'm vaccinating my kids, and I'll show you a reason why. And then what do I start doing? I start posting on Facebook. Hey, here's a hepatitis B study where the hepatitis B vaccine was safety studied for 5 days, right? And what's Facebook do to me?
Did you say the hepatitis B study was 5 days?
Well, that was the good one. The good one was 5 days. The shorter one was 4 days. And we're going to show you that, by the way. We're going to go to the FDA website right now, and we're going to go look, but in a second. So I go look at that. I start posting on Facebook. What's Facebook do to me?
They kicked you off?
They kicked me off. I posted on Twitter. What's Twitter do to me?
They kicked you off too.
They kicked me off.
Right.
I post videos on YouTube. What's YouTube do to me?
You get
Wow.
deplatformed?
They throw me off. So what do?
You put the truck up.
I create a billboard truck.
Yeah, you make your
I
own
said,
platform.
You know what? You can't censor the truck.
Yeah.
Right? And now some people in Poughkeepsie know that I actually had 2 trucks.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you the 2 truck story too. So I'm driving the truck to soccer practice, right? To the soccer field. Now
I love it.
and I'm a board member, coach, the whole thing. And President Club says, hey, listen, I don't want you driving the truck down here, right? And I understand why people don't want that. People don't like conflict. They don't like people who speak frankly, because I'm as frank.
And we are frankly speaking. That's why you're here, baby.
You're going to join our show?
I'm as frank as you can get. I don't have the hairdo to
Hey, I grow it for you.
I will say this though, my hair, not a hair out of place, Frank.
No, that's absolutely correct.
We got a couple.
I had to comb mine
I see a
before I
couple
came in.
stragglers.
That's correct.
So he tells me, hey, you can't bring that truck to the field. So I go talk to my brothers, Carlo and Johnny. Now I got to shout out to Carlo. If anybody knows Carlo, he's got the biggest heart in the world. That guy. Sorry. He's got the biggest heart in the world, my brother. I can't tell you all the things he does. He runs a CYO program at Holy Trinity, and he's always doing stuff for others. Anyway, so I go tell Carlo and Johnny, hey, they said I can't bring the truck to the soccer field. So you know what we did that weekend? We went to my brother's farm. We got some old wood. We built the second truck. And the next week we went to the soccer field with 2 trucks. And I said to the president, hey, listen, you keep up, I'll be here with 3 trucks next time. You will not censor me. The reason I drive a truck is because I've been censored.
Yeah,
right?
I love
and
it.
And they censor me, a little guy in Poughkeepsie who's got 1,000 followers on Facebook, and they censored me. The censorship alone should tell, like, if I was wrong about vaccines, like if I was out there and I was like, the earth is flat, they would never censor that.
Yeah.
You know why? Because they'd show me science. They'd say, hey, knucklehead, here's the science that shows the earth is not flat, it's round.
Yeah, they don't want to fight you.
They would never censor me for saying the earth is flat. They censor me for telling them that vaccines are poison because it's true.
That's a good comparison right
That's
there.
why.
I like that.
That's why, I'm telling you.
The one thing that we had some precursor, obviously, with some ads we put out to try and let people know this was going to happen, and I get it. I get both sides of the fence, and I think when you're put in a position where you've years and years and years, it's like dogma, right? Somebody's told you something, and then you try and listen to another side of a story that doesn't make any sense because they already did their homework. They did their homework. So, and the only other thing about this is people were talking about qualifications. What are the qualifications? And here's something that just came to me while I was listening to you talk. You probably have more qualifications of being a parent, which is something that's missing from, I think, the equation when somebody just says, oh no, it's fine, I just want to talk, I'm going to take my doctor and take their advice versus actually trying to find out more information about it. So qualifications are becoming more educated on a subject. You don't have to necessarily be a doctor to become more educated on the subject.
Let's do this, Frank. Bring up the FDA website. Before the show, I asked Frank to bring up the FDA website. Let's read that one because I will ask the audience how qualified you have to be to read and understand this this sentence we're going to read.
I can't wait to see this
because it's unbelievable.
All right, let's see what we got.
Unbelievable.
What is it? The package?
Yeah, packages. So now, if people look at top, it says FDA.gov, right? This is directly from the FDA website. This is the vaccine insert. This is their paperwork, not mine. It's the vaccine insert for the Recombavax HB vaccine, which is the hepatitis B vaccine that is given to children the day they are born, right? Hepatitis B, by the way, is an STD, sexually transmitted disease.
This is for all those kids at day 2 that are going to be sitting on the corner,
right,
looking for some kind of sexual activity,
right, or shooting up, sharing needles.
Well, even if the mother doesn't have it,
they give it to
the
them.
child gets it, which
I
makes
can't.
no
I gotta
sense
put my
to
glasses
me.
on.
Well,
so
they
you can see what
they
this is.
do
I'll
the
read it
check
to you,
before.
Frank.
They do the check beforehand
They all get it
on all mothers.
Yeah.
Right. And they give to them anyway. So I'm going to read this. This is a direct quote. In 3 clinical studies, 434 doses of Recombavax HB, 5 micrograms, were administered to 147 healthy infants and children up to 10 years of age who were monitored for 5 days after each dose. Now, Frank, I know you're not a doctor. Do you think 147 children is statistically significant? Do you think that's enough, a big enough sample group to say, hey, we're going to give this to every child born in the United States?
I am not a doctor, but I play one on TV, and no, the answer is absolutely not.
You sure? Okay.
It's not.
Frankie,
it's not enough.
Question for you, Frankie.
Yeah.
That safety study lasted 5 days. Do you think 5 days is adequate duration?
No.
Or
Not even close. I mean, no. They, you know what? I'm comparing that to. I think about like gas stations when they have to put in like new oil tanks and stuff like that, and they do soil samples and everything else. Or even if you want to build like a new building somewhere on a highway, and they make you do like studies that take months to figure out how many cars go past and all that other stuff. I've never even seen that. That's
And my logical mind goes, well, what happened on the 6th day?
if they died on the 6th day, didn't count.
Doesn't
the
count.
study is only for 5 days. so that's what
or 10 days or a month or a year later. And then
when the first event happened, that's when they close the
And it also doesn't tell you that if they're babies, it says up to 10.
Now, I'll say this too. So there's a group that submitted a FOIA request, right? FOIA is Freedom of Information Act.
Yeah.
And when you ask the federal government for information. So there's a group that sent a FOIA request to the federal government and said, and by the way, if we were to look, there's another hepatitis B vaccine given to children at birth. It's called Energix B, okay? If we were to look at that one was safety study for 4 days. So this one is 25% longer duration of the study, right? So there's a group that did a FOIA request on the hepatitis B vaccines and said, hey, show us the evidence that the hepatitis B vaccine is safe. Show us all the pre-licensure studies. And basically the government's response was they're in the vaccine inserts. So that's the best available science on those, right? Don't think that there are other studies that I'm not showing you. I'm telling you they're not out there. And if anybody calls in or if anybody ever says, hey, vaccines are safe, prove to me that just the Recombavax vaccine, forget the whole, all of them. Just try to prove to me that that one is safe. And they can't. And since they can't prove that one is safe, they can't prove the whole schedule is safe. And I'm telling you, all the safety studies, that safety study literally would not be accepted at a 5th grade science fair. Literally. That's why when I saw it, I said to myself, this is insane. Like I've got to tell people this. And I started putting it on Facebook, Twitter, blah, blah, it got thrown off. And I started creating PowerPoints, right? So let's hit up my PowerPoint real quick. So what I was going to do is I'll go through the audience kind of like what I'm going to talk about tonight. And I got Frank's technical ability, man. We're testing him. Go to the beginning, very beginning. And if you can start slideshow in the very beginning, it'd be great.
That is unbelievable.
Okay, this is good. Hey, if anybody needs me, right? There's my email, E before V, right? E before V stands for educate before you vaccinate, right? E before V.
What can they use that QR code there too?
Yeah, the QR code to get you there. Or that website, doweneedthis.org/E before V. All that stuff will get you to me. All right, next page. So here are the things we're going to talk about. I'm going to hit you real quick with the financial conflict of interest. I figured I'd hit that first so that you guys understand how on earth did the government approve that vaccine after 5 days? And 147 kids. By the way, there's no control group. It's like how did the government approve that? And I'm going to talk about the financial conflict of interest. We're going to talk about vaccine safety testing prior to licensure, right? Then we're going to talk about the post-administration monitoring. Then we're going to talk about retrospective studies of like the whole, have they studied the whole, gamut of vaccines that they give to kids?
Okay.
Then we can get into, autism, COVID, history of preventable vaccines, and then the CDC schedule. Go ahead, Frank. Next one. Oh,
Bernie Sanders.
it came to here. So if you're in slideshow mode, it should come to.
I'm not.
Oh, you got to go in slideshow mode.
Yeah, I don't even know how to get there. You're asking a guy who's not proficient in this aspect. So I'm on page 3, but you telling me it would be different?
Yeah, it would pop up, right? These things would.
So
right.
where's
Go on the side.
I did. I'm over here.
Yeah.
I'm over here. Oh, play maybe.
Yeah. Play. Try play. Okay, perfect. Yeah, that's it. Perfect. Okay. So look at this. 9 out of the last 10 FDA commissioners spanning 40 years have gone on to work for pharma, right? So Frank, you've got a multi-million-dollar job lined up if you approve this vaccine that's safety study for 5 days. What do you think, Frankie? Should you approve that?
I mean, I would think that most people, well, I might be the 1 out of the 10 because the money is different in my life than that, but I get it. Yeah,
You get it?
I definitely get it. Yeah.
Pharma put $100 million into elections. The CDC and FDA members own stock in the vaccine companies, and they own vaccine patents. So you have a patent on a vaccine, Frankie. You have a patent on a vaccine. Do you think that vaccine?
All I have to do is approve it.
Yeah, you start approving things. Are you going to approve? You can approve the hepatitis B vaccine if I approve your vaccine?
They're basically giving me generational wealth.
And if you look, 31% of, and this is the reason why media won't think, 31% of ads on TV are from pharma. So the media won't tell you the truth because are they going to cut off 31% of their income? Of course not. And look, by the way, February.
I don't know how to go back.
So February 2024, don't go back. February 2024, it happened again. One of the people from who approved the COVID vaccine went on to work for pharma. Look at this, October 8th, Eli Lilly taps former USDA FDA official. You understand? They're still doing it. They're still going directly from the government to work for pharma. It's insane. Go ahead.
How did they get away with that?
They're still doing it. Look, like Bernie Sanders, he said that in September. Everybody in this room took money from Big Pharma. Are they all corrupt? Yes, they're all corrupt.
Any of them that took that money
Well,
has got to be corrupt.
they're corrupt. I will say this. The Republicans in general have figured out, okay, the gravy train's over. Like the COVID like blew the covers off this thing. People figured out they're a scam, and Republicans have figured that out. But they're all corrupt. All right, moving next page. All right.
Democrats and Republicans.
Oh, absolutely.
All of
because
them.
listen to me.
I understand that.
Frank,
they probably just want to give up now. And it's like they're finally like, hey, we better stop this because there's going to be a civil war in this country.
They've known for decades that vaccines do far more harm than good. decades. This is not anything new. And every one of them knows. The Democrats know it. The Republicans know it. And I know they know it because I know the people who are telling them. And I'm telling you right now, I told Dee staff, or Dee Barrett's staff. I told Sue Serino's staff. I told Mark Molinaro, right? I told these people. They know me by name. I was in Albany. Before 2019, before they threw my kids out of school, I didn't go to any political, any of that stuff. Now I go to the vaccine rallies. I go up there. I walk into Dee Barrett's office and I go hand the thing in. And I know the guy by name, Matt. I'm like, hey, is Matt here? And he's like, no, Matt's not here. I said, all right, tell him I stopped by. He says, who are you? I said, Antonio Mazzarelli. He goes, oh, you.
Oh, you.
You're
Oh,
a you.
you.
Oh,
You're
you. They know
boy.
me. And at your
You wanna leave it
party, right? Yeah, no, we're gonna talk about this.
Okay, leave it on there. then.
Okay. So what's this? What this is look at the way vaccines are safety studied versus drugs. Look at drugs on the left. Enbrel, 6.6 years. Placebo. Now, a placebo, by definition, is inert, right? So it's a sugar pill if it's a pill, or it's saline if it's a shot, okay? That's a placebo. They do these vaccine studies, and they call like aluminum a placebo. It's not a placebo by definition. It's not. They changed the definition. They even do vaccine safety studies that are like this. Frank will get the chickenpox vaccine, okay? Frankie will get everything that's in the chickenpox vaccine except the virus. You get all the poison you get, but not the virus. And they sit there and go, okay, there's my safety study. Look, Frankie is just as sick as Frank, so therefore the chickenpox vaccine is safe.
Right.
That is the type of insane safety studies that they do, and they redefine the word placebo. But in this chart, placebo means placebo. It's an inert placebo, right? Enbrel, 6.6 years, placebo. Eliquis, 7.4 years, placebo. PCV 13, that's a vaccine. 6 months, the control, the placebo was another vaccine.
Yeah.
Lyrica, 2 years, placebo. Lipitor, 4.9 years. You see them all?
Yeah.
Multi-year study done with a true placebo. Do you know why? Let me make one point. Then you can.
Sure.
Do you know why? Because they're liable for the long-term damage. The number one, basically thing that could eat into their profits are the lawsuits later on. So they do long-term placebo-controlled studies because they want to know what the long-term side effects are, so that when they get sued, they make sure, hey, listen, look, they sold, they've sold many drugs that have killed people, but they knew that they would kill people. They do the lawsuits and they figure, they knew that, for example, what's the thing everybody's hooked on now? The
Oxycontin?
all that kind of stuff. They knew that stuff was addictive, right?
Yeah.
But they figured out, hey, listen, we're going to make more money selling this stuff than we're going to lose when we get sued, right? That's why they want to do proper studies on drugs. Their financial incentive is there. Go ahead, Frank.
No, I really don't have anything to say now, except this, that, I mean, that's conjecture to a certain extent.
Yep.
I mean, you can say it, but it is conjecture. But I mean, it's like we're always having a tendency to look between the lines. And I get what you're saying.
But their financial incentive is to know what the long-term side effects are. If you look just from a dollars and cents,
Right. No, that makes
just
sense.
as a calculator for drugs,
So
financially.
then the real question is, why
Now,
is
vaccines.
this schedule only so short? Is it because they have free reign?
Just look at their financial incentive only. They have no long-term liability.
Right,
No
no
long-term.
liability.
If they do a real study, it might show that the vaccine's harmful, so the vaccine might not get approved. So their financial incentive is to develop the crappiest study possible to hide the side effects. That's their incentive. Look at those studies.
3 days?
I just showed you that. Yeah, like hepatitis B vaccine, 5 days.
Right.
IPV, 3 days. Let's talk about that
Antonio,
one for a minute. Go
Where
ahead.
can people find this information?
That my E before B page is probably the best page.
Saying,
But where do
kind
you
of
find it?
research.
So all of this stuff, I go from different places. My number one part is from the highwire.com. But this information is from government or pharma sources. It's just
So it's literally
accumulated.
those people. This is their information,
Correct.
and you just took it and put it on.
Correct. We just accumulate it. I'm going to show you everything I'm going to show you other than the vaxxed versus unvaxxed studies. Everything else I'm going to show you is from ultimately from a government or pharma source. It may be accumulated elsewhere, but this is ultimately pharma information, right? If you go back to the
Yeah, this isn't any guessing
Nope.
or nothing like that. It's all facts.
and I do that on purpose. I pick pharma sources on purpose so that people can't say to me, "Oh, you cherry picked that," or "That's from an anti-vax website." But it's from pharma. It's from pharma or the government. The only thing I'm going to show you tonight that isn't from pharma or government is vaxxed versus completely unvaxxed studies. And the only reason I'm doing that is because the government won't do vaxxed versus unvaxxed studies.
That's
I'm going to talk about that for a minute too. All right, but look at the drugs. So IPV, polio. I like to talk about polio.
Yeah.
People, if you would have
I
asked
hear it.
me
I'm like, oh my God.
prior to me looking
he's
into
opening
vaccines,
a can of worms.
right? If you would have asked me prior to looking at vaccines, hey, what vaccines would you give your kid? I would have said polio. That's what I would have said myself.
Yeah, you would think so.
I was,
right?
I'm like, listen, I don't want my kids to be, in Ireland. Right? Here's how they safety studied the IPV vaccine, right? First of all, that vaccine does not stop transmission. Okay. So,
If they get it,
If-
they can get it with having the vaccine. They
Correct.
can still get polio.
correct. So here's how they did it. So they gave Frank is the subject group, all right? Frank was given the IPV vaccine, the polio vaccine, okay? And the DTP vaccine. 2 vaccines, Frank, DTP. You get the placebo. What's the placebo?
The
DTP.
DT. Oh my God.
All right. And then they compared these 2 groups for how long?
3 days.
For 3 days.
Wow.
Okay. And here's what they find. Frank's group and Frankie's group are just as messed up as each other. Oh, by the way, 38% of those kids had a high fever, over 102. Okay. So they gave those 2 vaccines together. And literally, if you read the vaccine insert, the polio vaccine insert, it says, because DTP was given concurrently with IPV, we could not attribute the side effects to either vaccine. Therefore, the IPV vaccine is safe.
What?
It is insane.
It
Again,
says that in the insert?
if you look up the insert and you look for the word concurrently, it'll say, I'm paraphrasing, because we gave the DTP vaccine to both of these groups, we have no idea if the side effects are from DTP. And they designed it like that on purpose.
And the FDA doesn't regulate this? Why not?
They do. You
Because
tell me
they're
why
in
not.
on it. They're in on it.
You tell
They're
me.
waiting for their jobs.
Oh, that's
Look,
It's just
conjecture.
Look,
insane. At
and
the cost of a child's health.
exactly.
They don't care.
Sad.
When I saw this, I can't tell you how many times I sat down with my brother Carlo, and I'm like, Carlo, could you believe it? Did you think it was this bad? Did you really think it was this bad? And he'd go, no, I didn't know it was this bad. Like even the cigarette companies, they had fake studies. The drug companies, they have no studies. They don't care because they got they own the FDA and the rest of those guys. You can move on, Frank, if you want to move on to the next thing. Or if you want to ask me anything, ask me anything.
No, that's pretty self-explanatory, I think. I mean, that's wild.
So there, and you went, all right, just go ahead. Keep going. Now you're going to flip through everything again, probably.
Yeah, my play is botched because when I do that,
All right,
I go
hit the
full
down arrow.
screen,
Hit
then
just-
I lose.
Oh, you
Then I
lose it.
lose. Then I lose us.
Uh-huh.
But you go ahead.
All right, hit the down arrow. There, you got to get to the next page,
Down
whatever next page. Keep going. Keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going.
Oh,
Going,
okay. I
going.
see.
All right,
I see.
stop.
Gotcha.
Okay. Now, here's another FOIA response, right? So there's a group that asked the FDA or HHS, Health and Human Services, please explain how HHS justifies licensing any pediatric vaccine without first conducting a long-term clinical trial in which the rate of adverse reactions is compared between the subject group and a control group receiving an inert placebo. Inert placebo controls are not required to understand the safety profile of a new vaccine and are thus not required. Their words, not mine. Hit the next button. Down arrow, Frank.
Down arrow.
Look at FDA.gov, placebo control. The test drug is compared with an inactive preparation. A drug needs to be placebo studied. Almost all of them are. There's some that aren't. The vast majority are. A vaccine does not. You know how many people know that? Almost nobody. You think your doctors know that? Doctors don't know that. Doctors think that vaccines are safety studied just like drugs. Why wouldn't they?
Why wouldn't they?
They're
That's what they're taught in medical school, right?
We're taught vaccines are some of the most thoroughly studied medical interventions of all time. But there is nothing further from the truth. It is an outright lie. An outright lie. Go ahead, move on, Frank.
So,
Okay.
just a quick question though. So, with the doctors though,
Yep.
are they giving the doctors incentives to to also
Yeah.
inject the vaccines? I mean, wouldn't a doctor, wouldn't that throw up a red flag? Like if I come to you and I'm like, hey, Antonio, like say you're selling hot dogs and I'm like, I sell you the hot dogs that you're selling. And I'm like, hey, Antonio, if you push these out, you're selling these for $2, but I'll give you these other hot dogs and I'll actually pay you $500 if you buy these hot dogs. I'm trying to understand how the hell this works.
If you believe, right, if you're a doctor and you believe that vaccines actually work and they keep kids healthy, and you say to yourself, okay, the insurance company, they want their patients to be healthy, therefore they're incentivizing me, they're giving me a bonus to keep these kids healthy. It all makes sense.
I guess you're right because you're thinking, okay, you're thinking it's like a bonus to keep America healthy.
Now I'm gonna answer a question that some people are probably thinking right now. Don't your insurance companies want you to be healthy?
You would think so,
right? You think you spend less money? Well, insurance companies are limited on how much money they can make as a percentage of total outlays. Okay, so Frankie, would you like 10%? Let's just use the 10% number. Would you like 10% of $1 million or 10% of $100 million?
Oh yeah.
What would you like?
Oh, so you want them? Oh wow. I never even thought of that.
So do you want your patients to be
the more
sick?
the more people that are sick, the more actually money they make.
Listen to me. A sick child is literally worth a lifetime of profit for everybody, for pharma, for the hospitals, doctors, everybody. A sick child is literally worth a lifetime of profit.
Wow.
So that's conjecture.
Well,
objection.
Them being worth a lifetime of profit is not conjecture.
I know it's not conjecture, but this is the area where somebody's going to sit there and say, you can prove it, but that doesn't mean that people are going to believe it.
Okay, that's
all I'm saying.
That's fine. Now,
I'm not trying to. I am being the devil's advocate.
That's fine.
But the piece of this is we're trying to get to the point, and I this is great information where, I think we've gotten there, and we're going to continue, but that people see that you're moving in the direction of proof.
Yep.
I mean, that's the key.
Yeah. So I just showed you that the vaccines themselves are not safety studied, right? Mm-hmm. Now here's proof that they don't even study the individual components, right?
Wow.
So one of the controversial components is aluminum. They took aluminum out of deodorant in California, right? You can't buy it, right?
Yeah. I actually just started doing
That's
that.
aluminum.
Aluminum. So here's another HHS letter. Look, they requested copies of any human or animal studies involving the subcutaneous or intramuscular injection of aluminum adjuvant relied upon by the NIH to establish the safety of injecting infants and children with aluminum hydroxide, blah, 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 blah. And at the bottom it says, there are no files or no records responsive to your request were located. In other words, they inject aluminum in the kids. They have no evidence whatsoever that it's safe, and they haven't done it for any of the other components either. You understand? They don't test the vaccines properly. They don't test the components properly. They don't test any of them properly.
Jesus.
But you got to get the aluminum out of your underarm deodorant.
But they have proof that it causes Alzheimer's.
Oh yeah.
Well, there are different studies. Like there's so much to this, and I've seen studies that show aluminum in brains of Alzheimer's and aluminum in brains of children. Blah 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 blah. Aluminum is going to be one of the things that they're going to look at. But in the end, there are multiple ways to injure the brain. Okay. And, aluminum is one of them, as well as, there's formaldehyde in vaccines. There are all sorts of toxins in there.
So I have a question.
Go ahead.
Are we looking at the additives being more of the issue or the actual vaccine itself?
You mean the actual, like the virus?
So if you want to say aluminum, any of the other mercury, thimerosal, or any of the other stuff that's added to it, is that more of the issue, or is it the actual the actual serum itself?
Okay. The government should be able to answer that question, Frank. I should be able to, anybody who looks into it should be able to answer that question. We can't. You know why? Because the individual components are not tested.
Okay. Right. Which you did say. It's important.
They don't test. You keep being devil's advocate because the questions you're asking, people are thinking out there, right? So whenever somebody says to me, prove to me, how many people were injured by this vaccine, I said, the fact that I can't prove to you how many people were injured by like the hepatitis B vaccine specifically. The fact that I can't prove it proves my point.
Right.
Because
Right. I
if the
don't think
government was
people
tracking it,
realize
tracking it accurately, we would all be able to answer that question.
Right.
All right.
I mean, and that's what comes down to this, the more recent study, and then of course the findings. And I'm not gonna
An inconvenient study.
right. And that's
We'll hit
very
that one.
interesting.
We're gonna hit
I
one at
watched
the end.
that the other night.
Oh, did you
It's
see
unbelievable,
it finally?
right?
Oh my God. Inconvenient study it's on
Right.
YouTube, right?
Well, he's going to talk about it.
oh
so
yeah.
let's leave
Holy
that.
crap. You guys
All right,
gotta
go ahead
watch
next,
that.
Frank. Please.
Let me get back up here.
So, what about the mothers that request a safe vaccine for their children? Is
So-
there such a thing?
So because they don't do individual safety studies on vaccines, no one can answer that question. No one. Absolutely no one can answer that question. Because how are they going to answer it? They got a safety study lasted 4 days, 3 days, 5 days, 6 months.
Right. So they don't put the additives in, and they just put the virus in, and then I would think the vaccine doesn't work anymore because it's the toxins in the virus that actually.
Listen, there is, the main thing that's talked about a lot about vaccines is the adjuvant, right? The thing that provokes the immune system. And it's in there for a reason. And by the way,
Right.
Speaking of aluminum real quick, do you know how they induce, so when they take mice and they want to make mice allergic to whatever, peanuts, you know how they make mice allergic to a certain ingredient?
They put it in a vaccine.
They inject it with aluminum.
Yeah.
Not a vaccine. They use aluminum to make the immune system hyper react. And that's
Well,
how
that's
they do
what
it.
I heard Kennedy explain, that you have to have a toxin in the vaccine. So when your immune system sees the virus or comes in contact with the virus, then the body rejects it and starts the immune system kicking in.
Right. So a lot
So
of,
they do that with peanuts and eggs. They put that in that's why so many kids are allergic to peanuts today because of the vaccines.
if you inject a child with a dead virus, right, the immune system will not react enough to develop immunity.
Right.
So that's why they stick an adjuvant in there to cause the hyper
Right.
reaction, right? That's the whole objective.
I thought I said that, but you said
Yes,
it better.
you did it. We make it to the next one, Frank.
Yeah, sure. Let me get back to.
You're the man.
Yeah, just give me 1 second.
By the way, people on TV here, I'm causing these guys all sorts of problems, making them switch back and forth from video
That's all
to
right.
things.
That's all right. We want to see you
The
as much
arrow.
as we want to see
Hit
it.
the down arrow.
Down
arrow.
arrow.
Okay. So I've already proven to you, A, all these guys getting paid. B, they don't properly safety study individual vaccines or the components. Now we're going to talk about post-administration monitoring. So this is after the vaccine is put out, are they tracking the side effects accurately?
Right.
So there was a group in 2010, the Harvard, so this is 15 years ago, the Harvard Pilgrim Medical Healthcare Group did a study and they found that less than 1% of adverse events were reported, okay, with the VAERS system. A lot of people have
Right.
heard about VAERS now because of COVID,
COVID, yeah.
okay? And look, likewise, fewer than 1% of vaccine adverse events are reported. Low reporting rates preclude or slow the identification of problem drugs and vaccines that endanger public health, okay? They know it. So the Harvard Pilgrim Healthcare Group recommended automating VAERS, right? Electronic support for public health, ESP VAERS. The government ghosted them. Look, unfortunately, there was never an opportunity to perform system performance assessments because the necessary CDC contacts were no longer available and the CDC consultants responsible for receiving data were no longer responsive to our multiple requests to proceed with testing and evaluation. So what I just showed you right there is proof that the government intentionally does not track the side effects accurately. Okay, it's not a flaw. It's a feature, because when 15 years ago somebody says, "Hey, you're only capturing 1% of your adverse events," and we could automate this, right? Because we have all these medical records are in databases, right?
Of course.
They could have AI. They could have had automation looking at this stuff for decades.
Well, they could surely do it now.
Yeah.
And
Right.
I'll let you continue.
They could have looked and said, okay, Frank just got the Hep B vaccine and it's lot 1, 2, 3, 4. And Frank got this condition, or Monica got, the same Hep B vaccine. So you can track by number, right? By lot number, and see exactly what's going on. And they don't do it on purpose. And that's what people need to understand. This is intentional. It is intentional. It is not by accident. These people know what they're doing.
The
right.
pharmaceuticals are not liable, but the government is. So is that why they're keeping the information?
So the government's liable, but it's almost, it's very difficult to actually get, basically get paid.
Mm-hmm.
It's very hard. So, the government is basically defending itself. Go ahead. You look like you want to say something.
No, I'm
All right, next.
hang on. Gonna have to make a switch.
Make the switch.
I'm making the switch. Next.
You got it down. Yeah, hit the down arrow. You're
Yeah.
the man. Okay.
The thing is, when these are up, we're not being shown
You're
on
not
the screen.
visible.
So what I got, that's
You
something
go back and forth. I like
we
it.
apologize for any wrongdoings at this point, but we'll fix them for next week.
Listen, people.
This is beautiful because it's another learning curve.
Yeah, people may say that I look better when I'm not on camera, but that's what some people may say. I know for sure Frankie looks better when he's not on camera. Okay, so I proved to you they don't track the side effects accurately. Now here's proof that they've never done, they've never studied the cumulative effect of all the vaccines. Now, you guys have all heard the dose makes the poison, right? The dose and the timing. Like if I drink enough water fast enough,
Yeah.
it's toxic. Okay. And
Crazy,
again,
right?
it's dosage and timing, those two things. The only way to verify that the dosage and timing of the toxins in vaccines, whether or not they're harmful, the only way to do that is to do studies that look at, people have had all their vaccines to none. Now, here's the Institute of Medicine. The Institute of Medicine is a group basically that's hired by the government to go ahead and look at, answer different questions. And they said, in 2013, they said no studies have compared the differences in health outcomes between entirely unimmunized populations of children and fully immunized children. Existing research has not been designed to test the entire immunization schedule. Studies designed to examine the long-term effects of the cumulative number of vaccines or other aspects of the immunization schedule have not been conducted. Okay, they know this is 12 years ago, man, and they knew decades before this. They are intentionally. This has got to be intentional. Has got to be. There's no way that you get that report from the IOM, say, hey, our vaccine's safe, and they say, no, we don't have any studies, and they just say, well, do them right away. No, they didn't say do them right away. They don't do them on purpose because they know vaccines are harmful. Go ahead, next, Frank.
Oh my goodness, this is getting good.
And I told you, right? IOM, again, this is government funded, right? That's government funded. Go ahead. This, I showed you 2013. This is 2020, a FOIA response. The CDC has not conducted a study of health outcomes in vaccinated versus unvaccinated populations. Now, ask yourself this question. If I said to you, Frank, cigarettes are safe. I done this study. I have Monica. She smoked 4 packs of Marlboro a day. And I have Frankie, who smoked 4 packs of Salem a day. They both have the same health issues. Therefore, cigarettes are safe. What would you say to me?
Like, what about the people who don't smoke cigarettes?
Right. What about the non-smokers? I just showed you their data, not mine, government data.
How could they get away with that? Because the money.
How could
They're all getting paid.
Like a slow boil.
That's
over
conjecture.
lobster, a little
This is
bit.
making
See,
me.
there's the money, there's the media, right?
Conjecture
The
my
media,
ass.
31% of their advertising money goes there. $100 million put into the politicians. That's why I hit the money first. I hit the money first because I like to say it's the money. I know people who say, you know what? History is littered with psychopaths. Hitler, Stalin, all these people who've killed millions of people on purpose. You don't think there are psychopaths alive today?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And you don't think those psychopaths find their way into positions of power like they found their way into positions of power in the past? Absolutely. That's these people.
AIDS.
Wow.
They like, you tell me why they've never done. Medical records are in a database. How hard would it be to me? Okay, filter this database. How many children have absolutely no vaccines? Filter how many of them are autistic. Take 2 seconds. And you cannot tell me Fauci didn't do that. You can't tell me he wasn't standing over some computer guy's shoulder, said, hey, filter out this database. That I don't have proof of it. Now it's conjecture.
Conjecture.
Get the table. Get the thing. Conjecture.
I object.
That's conjecture.
Right.
But I'd bet every dime I have on it that he did that. Okay. Next, Sir
If
Frank.
I was a betting man.
If I was a betting man,
I got to figure
I'd bet my house on that one. No, but you're doing good now.
Well,
Okay. Now, what happens? What happens when they do vaccinated versus completely unvaccinated studies? And we're going to talk about Dr. Paul Thomas, right? I have 13,000 children in my pediatric practice, and I have to say, as unpopular as this may be, My unvaccinated children are by far the healthiest. So here's what Dr. Thomas did in 2020. Okay. He published a study comparing the results, the overall health status of the patients in his practice. And what he found is that his completely unvaccinated were the healthiest. His partially vaccinated were the next healthiest. And those that were vaccinated per the CDC schedule were the sickest. Okay.
Wow.
Now,
And that's out of 13,000 children.
yeah, I don't know how many were in the study. I don't
There was
remember.
only 400 and something in the study by the CDC.
Yeah. No, this one was thousands. I don't know if it was 13,000, but it was thousands, right? But it was his practice.
Okay.
So,
And he should know they're his patients, right? I mean,
so when the Oregon Medical Board got this information, did they ready? Frank, who's going to answer this? Frank or Frank? Ready? Or Monica? You can answer this one. Ready?
I know the
When
answer.
they found out, did they immediately try to replicate his study? Because, oh my God, if vaccines are really harming children, we need to know that right away.
I know what happened.
Or B, did they immediately, within days, strip him of his medical
Right.
license
That's what happened.
to discredit him,
It's B.
discredit his study, and make sure that no other pediatrician dared to do a vaccinated versus unvaccinated study?
This reminds me of the Planet of the Apes.
that's why that alone tells you red flag, red flag.
Listen,
The alarms are going off in my
It
head
is
right
what it
now.
is.
facts. Those are the facts. You
All
can
he did was
conjecture anything.
basically say, okay, he has out of all his kids, who was healthier?
Yep.
That's all he did.
Yep.
And he has 3,000 kids not vaccinated, 2,000 that are partially,
Yep.
and 7,000 that are vaccinated. Whatever it is, the number. And he says these are, and he lost his
What he
license.
did, he looked at office visits and he
Mm-hmm.
said, okay, how many had office visits for allergies? The vaccinated and the unvaccinated. How many for ADD? Right?
And the line's going up.
And the lines for the sickest were the vaccinated.
And he's not the only one that did that and
he's-
lost his license.
He's not the
also.
only one that lost it. So every time I tell people, again, I said every U.S. vaccinated versus completely unvaccinated study shows that the unvaccinated are enjoy much better health. People say to me, "Well, show me the peer-reviewed study that hasn't been retracted." But they retract them all because this is what they do to the doctors.
Right.
This is what they do to the
Right.
doctors.
And now we have an unpublished. Now we have an unpublished.
And this is like what Frank and Frankie keep talking about is an inconvenient study, right? There's a movie that came out, an inconvenient study,
I just saw it.
right?
Unbelievable.
Where there was a doctor that was talked into doing it, right? Talked into doing it.
A renowned doctor.
Yeah.
Talked into doing the study.
But he wanted to do it to prove that vaccines were safe.
He was his original thing.
Right.
Yeah, I saw that.
That's
I'm
what,
gonna
that's
do
what
it.
opened my eyes.
I'm going to do it because the key with that study was like everybody else who's done it has been a quote anti-vaxxer, right? So now you got a pro-vax guy doing it. And there were many years ago. So in the IOM, when they said, "Hey, listen, we don't have vaccinated versus unvaccinated studies," they basically said, if we were going to do a vax versus unvax study, here's how we would do it, right? And they laid it out. So this doctor did the study, and if you listen to the hidden camera footage, the woman says, we followed it to a T. They followed the recommendations to a T. It is very difficult to do retrospective studies because there's just so many differences between people, right?
Almost, she was almost adamant to the point where the issue of pride stepped in, and she was like, "Yo, don't doubt what we did. We nailed it. Like is it legit? No, we're a medical center. We know how to do these things," which I thought was pretty interesting.
Yeah, and the inconvenient study found what every other study since they've been doing them, they found that the unvaccinated enjoy much better health. Period. Full stop. Those are the facts. Everybody can get mad at me all you want, but the facts are the facts. Right.
Which I don't understand how anyone could be mad when we're uncovered. I mean, is it because they're mad at themselves because they feel like they're a fool? Like, oh my God, I can't believe I did this to my
I was
children.
vaccinated. I mean,
I was vaccinated.
I was vaccinated, but I do have to tell you, when I was young, I had 107 fever after an MMR vaccine, and
He's never been the same.
We see what happened to him.
But I am diagnosed as having Asperger's. So I don't know what to say. I can tell you that I had a shot. 3 hours later, I had a high fever, 107. They were giving me alcohol baths. And then, I mean, you know what? You know what proof I have? is I have a group of people out there already who say, oh, he's impossible to handle. That dude, he's nothing but trouble. We can only take so much of him. So there's the proof. Then I went and got it actually diagnosed by a professional.
I knew there was something wrong with you because you're hanging out with this guy.
Exactly. That's the other thing.
That's beside the
He's got something else going on there. But that's like, so I was vaccinated. My two early kids were vaccinated.
And listen, I got to say this. Vaccines are not the only cause of a lot of the issues that we're seeing here today, including autism, Asperger's, all that kind of stuff. We're going to get to that. And a lot of people say to me, well, if vaccines cause autism or all these problems, why doesn't everybody have? Only 15% of smokers get lung cancer. Right. That doesn't mean that cigarettes don't cause lung cancer. Right.
The one thing on that point, though, and this is the thing that I'm assuming that, and I don't know what because one woman said there's 1 in a million that get botched up by vaccines. And the only, I think it's more than that, number one. And the thing that bothers me with that whole philosophy is you come into this life, you get married, you have some kids, and then you have a problem and you happen to be the one. But you're looking at it from this perspective, not from the perspective where you're looking at millions of people saying, oh, well, we just happen to draw the lottery. This is what you lived your life for. Yeah. And that's the thing that I never understood, where people get, they have this apathy toward people who actually care about bringing themselves up in a way that's healthy. And I think I think the answer to your question is, I think it goes back to that belief system that's being crushed. I was talking with your brother, and he was talking about that they're shaken to the core, and I can appreciate that 100%. You're shaken to the core because all that you thought was true is now being, and meanwhile, the powers that be, whether it's the media or whomever, are still professing that you're a quack, that anybody who talks like you is a quack. And the reason that those doctors got taken out was because they were quacks. They're all crazy. Every frontline doctor during COVID is crazy. 10,000 doctors frontline, all crazy. But it's the other ones that actually, who happen to be going and following the system, who are in fact veritable. Yeah. So I don't know what to say sometimes when it comes to people having this this belief system, because I would love to see everybody come together and say, let's all sit in the room like this, and let's have the doctor, because you know darn well Trump and RFK didn't do the studies. They didn't do the acetaminophen studies. They didn't do the other studies. They had people who actually have degrees do the studies.
Right, and they've reviewed them. And RFK has reviewed this. RFK is an environmental lawyer. He's used to reading studies about environmental toxins. That's what the guy's been doing forever.
Right.
So not only is he capable, but they treat him like he's an idiot all the time. I mean, he's an idiot. Okay, let's assume he's an idiot. The idiot didn't do the study.
In the end, Frank, you know why they call them names? Same reason they call me names. And the same reason they censor me. Right. Because they have no facts.
Right.
It's
shaky.
They have no other way
to attack you. When I started looking into this, here's what I thought I'd found. I'd be like, okay, there's going to be a bunch of evidence saying that vaccines are safe. There's going to be a bunch of evidence saying that vaccines are dangerous. Then I just got to figure out, which side I think. When I looked into it, there's no evidence of safety. None. Not a zilch. It does not exist. And I just proved it to you that it doesn't exist. Right? There's no evidence. It's zero. It is zero to a mountain of evidence of harm. And by the way, if we ever got to finish, so you guys look around.
No. So I wanted to just say he's
zero.
Right. And when he was asking someone to come on and talk about the facts on the other side of the fence, and then it was chirps, but also anytime you would ask somebody, when it got up to the point where I want to see some factual evidence, right? You have a lot of factual evidence. It's all, I mean, I hate to say it, but it's a lot of conjecture on the other side. And they show you the double-blind studies.
It's not a lot. It's only conjecture.
Right, I know.
When you read the studies, they're garbage. They call aluminum a placebo.
Right. I mean,
it's once you get past the headlines They have nothing. I never thought they'd have nothing. They have no evidence of safety. None. Not a zilch. It does not exist.
Well,
If
didn't
you
we
go to
learn?
chat-
I'm sorry.
If you go to Chat GPT, which we did, and I said, well, let's look. I never really looked to see if there was any studies. They roll them out, all these links.
Double
of-
blind, blah, 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 blah. But now you're bringing in a new level to that as far as how long did they do the studies.
So if
And
we
which they don't
stop
tell you.
there, then we say, look, there's all these studies. But then you have to
You
dig
gotta
in,
read
like
'em.
you're saying.
You got to read it. So it took me 2 years to go from no way do vaccines cause autism to not only do vaccines cause autism, they know it and they've known it for decades and they're doing it on purpose. Right. So it took me 2 years to get there. So it takes people time to move. I get it. Now, COVID moved a lot of people quickly because they saw that scam.
Yeah.
Oh my God. If we move on, I'll show you more. I'll show you.
But I do have to say, I was talking with Gio, and he
Yeah.
mentioned that his friend, a female who's going to school to be a doctor, and he said that
Dr. Kill Patient from Bugs Bunny.
she
Can't be the only one who remembers Bugs
she
Bunny.
is no. I apologize. I don't remember Dr. Kill Patient, but that's pretty funny.
All right. You're gonna have to look that up later.
I will. We should have him on the screen. Since I get a little bit more proficient with this, it's going to be cool. But he was saying that they still teach in the medical school that COVID was a natural disease. Who believes that now?
How are
Who
they-
believes that?
There's still people that are getting boosted.
No, that's not the point.
we're
The
gonna get
point
to
is
COVID.
that
Because
if
they
you
believe that.
no, but you just it's not even a question.
But to be
I had
teaching
somebody
doctors
tell
that.
me. So I'm gonna one of my slides. We're gonna talk about.
All right, we can go back.
There you go. Go to the
sorry,
next
Ed.
one. No. Listen.
We got carried away. There.
One of my slides. We're gonna talk about COVID lies, and one of the lies. So there he goes. Right. Look. So he published the study in November. Look, December 6th. Days later, they threw him out. All right. Next.
Oh boy.
Days later.
Down the tubes.
Down the tubes. All right. Now we're going to talk about autism. Before we talk about autism, right? There's a video here. As soon as you hit the down arrow, it's going to come up. Okay. Hold on, but let me explain who it is.
Got it.
So the one thing we've heard forever is, we don't know what causes autism, but we know for sure it's not vaccines. Vaccines have been safety studied. That's most thoroughly. I can show you clip after clip after clip after clip after clip saying we've thoroughly studied it, and there's no way vaccines do not cause autism. Blah 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 blah. Okay. And now I'm going to show you court testimony, where she can't lie. She does lie, but she lies when she says vaccines don't cause autism. But then she's asked the critical question. What's the critical question? Where's the evidence? Right? Where's the evidence? And he says, do you have evidence that the chickenpox vaccine doesn't cause autism? No, but I don't have evidence that it does. Right? So she's this woman, Catherine
That's
Edwards.
the funny thing that I've seen lately. It's like this double standard.
Yeah, they're
this is
they're manipulating.
This is a 3-minute video, and it's a lawyer questioning this woman on a vaccine case where she's supposed to be the expert to come in and say, hey, she did the studies. She did those crappy studies on vaccines. She
knows.
is the expert. She knows.
She knows really what's happening.
She comes in and she was going to testify in court that vaccine don't cause autism. It's 3 minutes.
All right, let's watch
Listen
this.
to her own words.
Frank.
I hear you.
All right.
It's Bridget. Boy, I wanted to say something to you before I went in there. Oh, Bridget had something to say. I got to keep it a secret, though.
What? What does she have to
She
say?
said comments are going crazy.
Oh, they are.
That's all I had to say.
Let's watch
You
this, and
didn't
then maybe
tell
we'll
me.
answer a couple of the comments. That'd be a good idea.
Lord,
Good
good
idea.
Lord.
I
like
We're
that.
going to be here all night, guaranteed.
According to your profile, you have done most of the pivotal trials relied upon to license many of the vaccines, correct, on the market?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So you're highly experienced in conducting clinical trials, correct?
I'm highly experienced conducting clinical trials.
And you're familiar with many of the clinical trials that relied upon to license many of the vaccines currently on the market, correct?
I am.
In your opinion, did the clinical trials relied upon to license the vaccines that Yates received, many of which are still on the market today, were they designed to rule out vaccine causes autism?
No. You've badgered me into answering the question the way you want me to, but I think that that's probably the answer.
Is that your accurate and truthful testimony?
Yes.
In the expert disclosures for this case,
But she's not happy about
it
that.
asserts that, among other things, you will testify that, quote, the issue of whether vaccines cause autism has been thoroughly researched and rejected, end quote. It's your testimony that MMR vaccine cannot cause autism.
That's correct.
It's your testimony that Hep B vaccine cannot cause autism.
That's correct.
It's your testimony that IPOL cannot cause autism.
Yes.
It's your testimony that HIV vaccine cannot cause autism.
Yes.
It's your testimony that varicella vaccine cannot cause autism.
Yes.
It's your testimony that Prevnar vaccine cannot cause autism.
Yes.
And it's your testimony that DTaP vaccine cannot cause autism.
Yes.
And do you have a study that supports that DTaP doesn't cause autism?
I do not have a study that DTaP causes autism. So I don't have either.
Do you have any study one way or another of whether IPOL causes autism?
No, I do not, sir.
Do you have any study one way or another of whether NGRX-B causes autism?
I do not have any evidence that it causes autism, nor that it does not.
And what about HIV titers vaccine? Any evidence one way or another of whether it causes autism?
No.
And what about Prevnar vaccine? Any evidence one way or another?
No, sir. No, sir.
And how about varicella vaccine? Let me just finish. Are there any studies one way or another that support whether it does or doesn't cause autism?
Part of MMR, but not as varicella by itself. No, sir. No studies that say it does, or no studies that say it doesn't.
There you go. Okay.
I know. I made.
We-
I
people
apologize
hear it?
for the.
We were
for
supposed
the-
to have that on the screen,
Yeah,
but
I hope that.
People hear it?
I hope
they
so.
could hear it though, right?
Oh, they
I
can hear
think
it.
so. I think
Yeah,
so.
because we can hear it in the mic.
Could
But
they? Could they hear that? Could they? No. Could they hear the video, audio, video? Oh, okay.
all right, but it just didn't show the video.
All right, we apologize for that.
Okay. So
The,
other
the
question-
woman looked. The woman looked a little
Perturbed.
perturbed.
All right, so
That's all.
hold on. I just want to so all of those other things where he was reading off, were they showing on the screen?
No, they were, because here's my issue right here. I did not have Adam and Keynote selected, and that's where we ended up.
Okay, no, because I want to make sure that people,
All the other
because
times
there's
I
some
did.
people arguing saying that these are opinions.
Well, listen, they're not. In the end, listen. Before I leave here today, I'm going to offer people money to prove me wrong, because I'm not leaving here without saying, "You think I'm wrong? Here's money." So
That's what I'm talking about.
If anybody wants at the end, don't worry.
Thank
I'm
you,
gonna, I'm
Denise.
gonna
I
offer
just
you
seen
all
they
money.
heard it. Yeah, we were
Anybody
just
who
making
disagrees
sure
with me
we
gets
were trying to
paid.
show the video
Yeah.
because
I apologize for that. I'm
see a
still
lot of
learning.
comments on here.
No, listen.
Yeah,
I
In the end, anybody who can prove me wrong
What's
is going to
that?
get paid.
Okay.
yeah, can we do that? Can we go over some of the comments? here?
Yeah. We may never get through this entire
That's fine.
slide
that's okay.
presentation.
And I shortened it up.
Well, and that's good. I'm actually glad that I have this. The thing that I want to say before is we didn't bring Antonio on the show in order to get everybody to side with anti-vaxxers.
Yeah.
That was not my intention at all. My intention was, I saw the movie. I saw
An inconvenient
an
study?
inconvenient study. I
Oh
keep
my God, I
getting
saw
that
it too.
wrong.
So crazy.
And when I saw the movie, I said, "Wow, there's a lot of information here that's done by the Henry Ford Institute."
Yep.
Frank, can you fix the screen here? Or we?
Okay.
I mean, if we're going to do that, there we go.
Well, you can do that.
Or you can go down to whatever's next, whatever you
Or
want.
go to the next
No,
one. Do
so-
something.
So no, here's where we're going to stay for a few minutes. So for me,
It's still the same, right?
it's going to change.
Oh, okay.
Dude.
All right. Sorry.
Man, oh man.
Sorry. There we go.
We're gonna this is
we
when
have
you
to
see
have
the guys
somebody-
on the show start fighting. You know this is a
I'm
heavy
the
duty
one-
topic.
listen,
I know. I'm just like
I'm the
anal
one who
a little
started
bit
with all
that.
this,
Yeah.
PowerPoints and
I know. No, but we want
illicit
that.
videos.
I want
and-
because I want people to see that
Well,
it's not your words.
We should have
Nothing I
done that
told you is
3
my
weeks
words.
from now.
The conjecture
I mean,
is
we
mine.
all of a sudden we had a You tell me, oh, we're going to have a brand new slideshow tonight.
With
I didn't
embedded
know
video.
that. With embedded video. Now, I have to figure some things out, but we'll get it.
Pop-ups and
Anyway,
what's the
back
question?
to this. It's.
Okay.
I don't have a question.
No,
I have a comment that all we're trying to do is get people to look at the information. If somebody out there is saying this is not valid or it's an opinion, I don't know what else you have to show somebody in order to show somebody something that ends up on a website from the actual FDA or from whatever association it is, in order to give them the right information. Because I don't know if those people are actually going to be happy with whatever we say.
So before I leave, I get into these, like I said, I get into these pro-vaccine groups, and I do that on purpose online. Because online, you got everybody, right? You got doctors, I got them all, right? And I've been arguing with people online on purpose to sharpen my argument, because sometimes they say things that I don't know, right? And I get into the most pro-vaccine groups I can because I want to know. I don't want to lie to people. You think I want to lie to people? I'm telling my family and friends this. You think I want to lie to my family
And you're
and
not
friends?
getting paid.
No, I'm not getting paid.
You just
it
want-
costs me money.
Yeah. Isn't that crazy? I know people think
you
that you're
you
spreading.
think the billboard's free, the banners are free.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? I've had multiple vehicles keyed. All right. I've had those.
Right.
I've had my
Right.
my.
Isn't
my
that
things,
crazy?
I've had my things spray painted. I've had my banner spray painted.
because you're trying to spread
yeah,
like health.
I've had people post online my home address and phone number,
Wow.
right, on Facebook because they're trying to threaten me, right? I don't do this for anything. I do
would
this
somebody do
because
that?
it's the truth. I do this.
Insane.
Listen, I openly admit that for me, this is personal. It is deeply personal.
Yeah.
They threw my kids out of school because I wouldn't poison them,
Yeah.
right? Because I wouldn't give them a vaccine that was safety study for 5 days. I am not going to knowingly poison my children,
Yeah.
right? I'd rather homeschool them, okay? But I know that this is deeply personal, and I know that I am passionate. And my brother Carlo's even more passionate. So my brother Carlo, he's the best. He's an architect. People would walk into his office during COVID, and if they had a mask on, he'd be like, "Get out! Get out!" And they'd be like, "Whoa, what do you mean?" He goes, "Don't come in here with those masks. It's a loose-fitting mask cannot possibly stop an airborne virus. Get out! It's just a face diaper." And,
Right.
and invariably, they take it off and say, "Oh, thank God, I didn't want to wear that thing anyway."
Right.
So he's more psychotic than I am. He's passionate. Anyway, that's
What's the question, Bridget?
All right, so it's really a comment. It's just kind of debunking. Can you guys hear me in the headphones?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
Okay, so
yeah.
one comment we have says, you cannot say you proved anything regarding this. This is your side, and that doesn't make it correct. Do you have the science degree? She said, I'm not trying to be confrontational. I'm legitimately curious. And then one other part is, opinion is not fact. Please say that it is your opinion, and it's the beliefs, not that it's proven. Those are dangerous statements regarding the issue.
Okay.
So how do you feel about that?
So number one, no, I'm not a doctor. But at B, you literally, if you went to a 5th grade science fair, you know that 5 days on 147 people with no control group is garbage. And that polio study I said with both people getting DTP for 3 days, you know that's garbage. You need a 5th grade science degree. And what I've stated is fact. Not only is it fact, it's government fact. I'm reading you government.
Yeah. This is something you got off of their
Period.
website.
Everything I've showed you thus far is from the government. I haven't gotten to the vax versus unvax studies that are, well, I did the one vax versus unvax study that was from Dr. Thomas. Okay. Everything else that I have showed tonight is from the government. It is their data. They're admitting it. And I just showed you court testimony where a government expert, right, who does vaccine safety studies says that she was there to quote, to testify that, quote, the issue has been thoroughly tested and rejected, the issue that vaccines cause autism. And then when she got under oath, they said, where's your proof? She said, I don't have any. You understand? Mm-hmm. That is government data, not mine. That is fact, not opinion. And when we're done, here's what I do. When I get into these pro-vaccine groups, I offer people $5,000, right, to prove that vaccines are safe. And I will accept one of two things, either individual safety studies on each vaccine, and I say you've got to have 500 participants, a saline placebo, and 1 year safety study. Now, I showed you those drug trials, multi-year, blah, blah, right? 500 participants, 1 year, saline placebo. That is bare bones, right? The COVID shots were there were 44,000 participants. It was scheduled to last 2.5 years, and there was a saline placebo. Okay, so my requirements for individual safety studies is bare bones. By the way, for COVID, they stopped that study after less than 6 months. The average duration that people were in the study were like 2 months. Right? It was scheduled to be 2.5 years, less than 6 months, they think. And I'll show you that later if we get to it.
All right, here's another
And,
one.
and, hold on. And then, or I will accept individual safety studies on each vaccine or a vaccinated versus completely unvaccinated study.
Okay.
And when I offer people $5,000, my brother Johnny said he'd throw in 5. My brother Carlos throw in 5. We have $15,000 for anybody who's a frankly speaking.
You heard it here.
Frankly speaking thing. We will give you $15,000 if you can meet the parameters that I'm going to show you. And I just explained it to you. It is bare bones. The parameters that I'm putting forward, you can pass with a drug with your eyes closed. With your eyes closed.
But you're talking about vaccines.
But now I'm talking about vaccines.
Right.
Yeah.
Because I know vaccines are a scam. They are.
All right.
Okay, what's the
So
question?
now we have another one.
Yep.
So where is the list of children, their pre-existing conditions, if any, ethnicity, genetic dispositions, ages, gender, etc.?
Are you talking about Dr. Thomas?
They are saying
So-
you have very skewed information.
Okay.
This is what the comment is saying.
So okay, good. That's good. So those are valid questions. So if you want to find Dr. Thomas's thing, look it up. Dr. Paul Thomas. I have the links myself, but I don't know how to share them with you guys, or I could share it with you guys. But if you look up Dr. Paul Thomas, and you can go find him, okay? But ask yourself this question. Anybody with a rational brain's got to ask themselves the question. Why didn't the government do this type of study already? Right? The fact that
What's
they
the reason?
couldn't prove Dr. Thomas wrong, the fact that they saw his data, and when they saw his data, their reaction was, we got to get rid of this guy, instead of, holy cow, we need to replicate this study, shows you the corruption. Period. Not one person with one iota of decency. 100% of decent people would have replicated his study. 100% of evil people would have done what they did. Get rid of his license, discredit him, discredit the study, and make sure that study never happens again. That's the bottom line.
You got
You have another?
It's more of a comment you can respond to.
Okay.
Everyone who gets vaccines doesn't get sick. How can you say they are or aren't good for you? Same logic you're using about smoking and lung cancer.
Right. Everybody who gets vaccine doesn't get sick. That's true. I never said they all do.
Right.
Right.
But here's the one thing I was thinking
answered.
about right now. No, so we're talking about how healthy people are. Have you noticed that like hospitals are getting bigger and all these people are dying at young ages? 50. I just had a friend die at 49 years old. I mean, everyone has cancer. How do we know that these things aren't causing all this other stuff? These chronic illnesses, and they're not studying for that because how do you study for that? It's 30 or 40 years later.
See, because the people who have the data to do the large scale retrospective studies that are necessary to answer all these questions won't do it. It's pharma and the government. Like the fact that we can't answer that question you just asked, Frankie, is proof on my side.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Understand? It's proof to my side. We are told that vaccines are some of the most thoroughly studied medical interventions of all time. That is a lie. The exact opposite is true. Vaccines are some of the least studied medical interventions of all time. And then here's the best part. If I give a drug, I come up with a heart medications, right? Who gets the heart medication? Everybody or just the people who have heart problems?
Yeah.
Just the people who have heart problems. Does that heart medication typically have a live antigen in it? No. Vaccines are given to every single child from the day they are born. A lot of them have live antigens. They should be more rigorously studied than drugs.
Yeah, anything.
Significantly more safety studied than drugs. And the exact opposite is the truth. And that's why they censor me. And that's why I drive a sign truck and I come on podcasts, because the truth is unbelievable. And I didn't believe it either. I was shocked when I started looking into it. And that's why I created PowerPoints. They're fully referenced. And I use government sources on purpose.
I love it.
Sorry for getting fired up.
No, it's good. I love it.
He's all fired up.
You got another one, Bridget?
Whoa!
There goes the Dell computer. We're gonna have to take some money out of that that 15,000 and buy a new laptop.
Buy a new laptop.
I do have somebody that says it's difficult to say. I asked her to elaborate.
that.
She said, this is all one person making those comments.
Oh, cool.
So it's Joanne. It's got to be Joanne. I think.
No,
That's fine.
I did read Joanne's comments before. This is Diana. She looked like she is inside with you and understanding where you're coming from. So I asked her to elaborate, but she said this is all one person making those comments, right?
Hey, listen.
Meaning.
Meaning that was
about-
Joanne making all those.
I understand.
Yeah, on the
Okay.
Facebook. It wasn't you.
People making comments is fine. Ask questions.
It has to be,
Yeah.
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 Right.
What
We
you
want-
don't
we
do-
wanna
right, we
talk.
want questions. I want questions because you should be asking this. Like I said, it took me 2 years to go from these things are safe to men are do it on purpose. Yeah, and if you go to the next page, we can get even more wound up.
Yeah. Here we go. Hey, you heard it here. 15,000
At
from the
end-
Mazzarelli
At the end,
boys.
I'll show you. We'll show you 15,000.
All you got to do is prove that they're safe, right?
I'm
you got
very
parameters.
specific. It's what I thought. It's a 500 person study with a saline placebo that lasts a year on individual vaccines, or a vax versus completely unvaxxed study with at least 500 people.
Yeah.
Basically, that's what it is, and they'll never find it because it doesn't exist.
That's insane to me.
That safety study, Frankie. You know who Steve Kirsch is?
I've heard the name.
Steve Kirsch invented the optical mouse.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
He became a quote anti-vaxxer because he saw all these people getting sick from the COVID vaccine. He got the COVID shot, right? So, by the way, that's another main point I want to make. Most quote anti-vaxxers.
That's not bounty.
Yeah. Most quote anti-vaxxers are actually ex-vaxxers. They're people who were vaccine injured or have a child who's vaccine injured, and then they figured out. So Steve Kirsch saw my $5,000 vaccine safety challenge, right? He took it and he posted it. He says, "I'll give you $100,000." He says, "I will give anybody." He posted it on Twitter to I don't know how many followers he's got. He posted on Twitter, says, "I will give you $100,000 if you can meet this guy's challenge." You know how many people got the 100,000?
Nobody.
Zero, because it doesn't exist. And I just showed you government data. I showed you the IRM report.
I mean, if you
showed
can't
you the thing.
see this and agree, I mean, like, I can't even. How is that possible? How would somebody not do that? There's a free $100,000.
It doesn't exist.
You would think that somebody would be able to come up with the information, especially with all of the,
it doesn't-
means
Yeah.
necessary.
It does not
I
exist.
mean, we have ChatGPT.
Nah,
Google.
you're awfully
There we go.
skimpy on
You're,
those.
you're bringing two paper towels. We just dropped a gallon of water.
No, you're
The
doing
quicker
well.
picker upper. Oh my God, that's all right.
Frank's got that.
No, but I just think it's wild because, like, I know to do studies, like, or to get anything done, to build, like, to put a traffic light in, they do studies for months and
They
months.
don't do 3-day studies?
No, I mean, that's for a traffic light. Here's something that isn't being enforced. And I've heard people say to me, "Oh, you're not being forced to do it." Yes, you are being forced. If you don't go, you can't get a certain job. Your kids can't go to school. You can't go to certain area. I mean, like, there's a lot of things you cannot do if you're forced.
Yeah. Hey, two things I want to say. Number one, anybody who's online making comments, listen to me. Either show me proof that the Recombivax HB, that hepatitis B vaccine, because that's the one given to children, not the adult one. Show me proof that the Recombivax vaccine is safe. Go ahead, go look. I dare you. I dare you to go look, and I dare you to try and find it. You won't. It's impossible. It doesn't exist. And then you know what I want to call out, Frankie? You just reminded me. The school boards, right?
Yeah.
The schools are enforcing vaccine mandates, okay? Vaccines cause autism, allergies, ADD, ADHD, SIDS, diabetes, and more, okay? We know that. We know it for a fact because there's a mountain of evidence that says it does, and there's absolutely no evidence that says it doesn't, okay? And I've shared this information with the Spack-and-Kill School Board, the Arlington School Board, the Wappinger School Board, okay? They know. You guys, you are the guards in the concentration camp. You understand? You are harming children, and you know it. If you didn't know it before 2019, you didn't know it. Since 2019, I have provided all of you more than enough information so that you know it. You cannot use it as an excuse to say, "Hey, I didn't know." Blah blah blah. They know. You guys, you are not innocent bystanders. You are the ones forcing these vaccines on children. All you have to do, and I told all of them this, you know how they do Columbus, hero or villain study, things at school? I said, do vaccines helpful or harmful? Do a vaccines helpful or harmful? And once the kids read that safety study and they say this, the vaccine was safety study for 5 days, even the fifth graders will know it's a joke, okay? You cannot use school board, Spack-and-Kill School Board, Arlington School Board, Wappinger School Board. I have provided you more than enough information. Dee Dee Barrett, Sue Sereno's at least on our side. Mark Molinaro, you too. I told him, Mark's on our side, but he won't listen to me. He won't hear me out.
He has kids with autism.
I
too.
know.
Yeah.
I know. He won't hear me out.
I got
I
a guy
think
here,
that's a-
Key Taylor, that said make it 20,000. He can get 5 to throw.
There
in.
we go.
You
I
know
love
Key
him.
Taylor? You know?
I don't know him, but
okay.
I like the guy. He's on my side. Doesn't even know.
I love
doesn't
it.
Even know
I
me.
love it. I love it.
I figure he must figure out this guy's psychotic enough to drive a billboard truck.
You want to show this
He must
next
have-
slide?
Yeah,
No.
next slide.
Yeah.
I just want to say that a lot of mothers and parents in general who have vaccinated their children don't want to believe that they've harmed them.
Well, they
know,
didn't do
and
it
it's-
knowingly. They did not
No,
do it knowingly.
Absolutely not.
I mean, they're
It's
doing
just-
what they think is safe, right?
and
Yeah,
your
blame the government.
passion is about informing people so they know not to harm. They know what they're dealing with, so they can make an informative decision instead of being forced to do something that could be detrimental to their kids.
People laugh at me when I talk about Pavlov's dogs because I think it's such a poetic. I wrote this into a song, by the way. Such a poetic name for such an insidious game, right?
Yeah.
And the thing that blows my mind is that we all have people who are on the opposite end of the spectrum. I mean, about vaccines.
Yep.
And so you say, I'm not too sure. Automatically anti-vaxxer.
Yep.
And it's like, well, wait a minute. I'm not totally anti-vax, but you gotta help me here. Give me some information. And then once you're into the anti-vax category, there's a number of different catchphrases that go along with that. And idiot is one of them. Flat earther's another one. And a myriad of other uneducated names, epithets, right, that go into that whole
Yeah, I
thing. And
don't
it's like,
understand that.
listen, I get what you're saying, but on both sides, and I got to tell you, there's a lot of people who are on not so much the anti-vax side, but we'll talk about political, that, there's this side that's saying this side's uneducated and this side saying this side's uneducated. And everybody's being played against each other.
That's
So
the key.
I
That's what's
think
going on.
all we're really trying to do is understand. So we got a guy like you that comes on the show. And do I believe everything you're saying? Well, all the stuff that's backed up by facts, well, unfortunately, most of what you're saying, if not all of what you're saying, has some factual information behind it. So anybody out there who's saying there's no evidence, man, come on.
What I could be doing is cherry picking and showing you only one side.
Right, which
That's-
is what a
that's
lot of
why,
people
Frank,
do on those podcasts.
That's why at the end, I'm going to offer everybody money, 15,000, now 20.
I think you already did that.
All right.
20.
That's why
They go
I
on X,
offer
100.
people money, because money talks, BS walks. You know what kind of people put their money where their mouth is? People who are right.
Right.
You understand?
I mean,
I am not cherry picking, and I'm willing to put my money where my mouth is on that statement.
right.
I love it.
And we're going to move to the
Move on
keynote.
to the next thing.
Yeah, let's get it. Let's.
While you're there, while you're moving on, so you talked about singing thing. When my wife sings in the choir, beautiful. I sing at church. People turn around the pew in front of me and say, "Shut up!" Like that's me. Nate,
Oh,
move
you're
on.
loud?
Down arrow.
Down arrow.
Down arrow.
Oh, no. First,
We're gonna have somebody here next
yeah,
week
play.
doing helping Frank with the switching
no,
stuff.
No,
around.
Frank's doing
no,
good.
no. All I need is to know what I'm doing. And then next week we'll have
This way you can actually
you don't
talk.
throw a slide on me at the day and then not know how to get it done.
I get it.
Down
No,
arrow.
I
you're-
got
I think
total
you're doing a
control.
great job. I just
you are doing good. So
I
we're
like
going
to have
past
you.
Down arrow again.
I like to have you more engaged in the conversation, though. It's
I'm
kind of
engaged.
hard. Okay, all right.
No, listen, man.
I'm
I
doing a lot
didn't
of
realize
talking.
you were a perfectionist.
Oh no, yeah.
This
Well,
dude's gonna
I just
try.
I get
Don't
things
even
done. I
think
like you know,
about
and I might have some of this
It's a
OCD.
learning.
I don't know. I was vaccinated as a kid.
All right, listen.
Oh, here comes the big A.
I just showed you the leading, one of the leading vaccinologists in the entire United States.
Right.
A purely evil woman. You want to talk about somebody who's psychopath evil? That's her, okay? She just admitted she has absolutely no evidence that vaccines do not cause autism. Look, if there are four of us in this room right now, if we went down to, I don't know, pick your favorite restaurant. What restaurant you give a shout out to, Frankie?
Oh, I like Jason Patrick's. I love.
Shout out to Jason Patrick. We went to Jason Patrick's right now, okay? And two of us got E. coli. You know what they would do? they would get a hold of us and say, what did you eat? What did you eat? What did you eat? Where did you go? Where'd you get the blah, blah, blah. And they would say, oh, you both had lettuce. You know what? That lettuce was transported from this farm. Oh, that truck that the lettuce was transported in was transporting eggs before it was transporting lettuce. And they'd go find the eggs. And then they'd say, wait a minute. We'd also go back to the farm where the lettuce came from. And they'd say, okay, where did the manure come from? Oh, those cows. They'd go to that next farm and they'd backtrack it. And they would do a detailed investigation. If two of us got E. coli, you understand? If two of us got E. coli, they would do a detailed investigation. Look. There are 2 million autistic children in this world. Surveys show 40 to 70%. Let's just use 50% as a round number. Believe that vaccines cause their child autism. Many have before and after video evidence, like some I showed you. Yet the US government has never investigated the link between vaccines and autism. Is it A, they're all incompetent, or B, they know that vaccines cause autism and they're hiding it?
Yeah.
And if there's a third option, you give me a third option. There is none. When you start asking common sense, basic questions, you know vaccines cause autism. Trump said it for a reason. You guys know what a statement against interest is? That's essentially if you go to court or you're a Ford salesman, right? And you say to me, hey, Antonio, Ford's the best car ever. Okay, kind of goes in one ear out. But if you say to me, hey, Antonio, you know what? Cadillac, that's the best car ever. That's a statement against interest. And in court, statements against interest hold higher value because it's against your interest, okay? It's against Trump's interest to tell us that vaccines cause autism. And yet he did it. It's against RFK's interest to tell us vaccine. It's against people's interest to tell people that vaccines cause autism. Almost all of us have family members with autism, okay?
Yeah, it's crazy. Everyone.
We don't want to sit there and say, holy smokes, we did that to ourselves, right? I don't want to say that. And vaccines are not the only cause of autism. There are completely unvaccinated children who are autistic. Vaccines are the number one cause of autism, though. Look at that curve. If we do nothing in the next 10 years, 1 out of 2 children is going to be autistic. You understand? That means one child's going to be sick. The next one's going to have to take care of the sick one. This is catastrophic. And people say, oh, it's just change recognition. Since 2017, there's been a 50% jump, okay? It is not just change diagnosis, and it is not genetics. No way. It's vaccines.
And
We're going to have to wake up people.
basically-
Frank.
You want to hit the down arrow?
It's
You can hit it.
basically
Oh my
brain
goodness.
inflammation. Am I right?
Well, there are a couple ways. I give people this. I'm going to give you a straight line. I don't know if it's the next slide or not. Frank, hit down. I don't remember what slide I put here or not. I may have put it. Just hit the down arrow. I got to do that first. Oh, you got to do that first. Okay. No. Okay. Well, let me tell you. So brain inflammation. I'm going to draw you a straight line, okay? Encephalitis is swelling of the brain, okay? I can show you a whole host of vaccines where encephalitis is literally listed in the vaccine insert as a known side effect. And when they put a side effect, an adverse event in the vaccine insert, it's not because they don't think it's associated. They only put stuff in there if it's associated, if they believe it's associated with the vaccine, okay? Here's a very simple direct line from vaccines to autism. The vaccine caused the brain to swell, which they know happens. Parts of the brain become injured, and those parts of the brain are the parts that control the eyes, the motion, those types of things, and later diagnosed as autism. That's just one of many possible mechanisms, and it is plain as day to understand, okay? I'm telling you all, vaccines cause autism. Now you all know. You want to ignore it at your own peril. Here's a vaccinated versus completely unvaccinated. So again, this is not government, okay? Why is it not government? Because the government refuses to do this type of study, okay? In this one, vaccinated 12 times more. In this one, autism is 4.2 times more. Look at allergic rhinitis. Remember I was telling you in the beginning, they use aluminum to cause allergies in mice. Like that's how if they want to make a mouse allergic to something, they inject them with that something and then they inject it with aluminum, okay? And look at all the autoimmune issues. We have all these autoimmune issues in children. And the one thing we're not looking at to see if it's the cause is vaccines whose entire job is to fake the immune system out into thinking that you got a disease that you didn't have. That's the job of a vaccine, to fool the immune system. Right? You're fooling with the immune system and you don't look at it to see that it's insane.
I wanted to just say one thing about that. The interesting thing is everybody always gets caught up on the big A.
Yep.
But after watching the movie, there's a lot of symptoms that might mimic autism that are these other neurological diseases. So, okay, so the first sign is like he looks like he's autistic. Oh, I ran on my toes a lot when I was a kid too. take a look at some of the records on that. But that's the thing that stupefies me, that we're not trying to just say, oh well, autism is part of vaccines. There's a myriad of other things.
It's one of many.
And that's just the facts based on the new information which came out, which is out there. It's out there. You just got to watch the movie.
Yeah.
You know?
All this information is out there, right? You just got to, and like I said, I tried to accumulate it to make it easier for people to see it.
And you know what's funny? The doctor in the movie said, I wish it weren't true.
Yeah.
I wish it weren't true, but it is.
Yeah. And he didn't put the study out. He finished that study in 2020. He didn't put it out because he would have been ruined. They would have ruined him.
And he said
Like
very
they
quick.
ruined Dr. Thomas.
Right. And on when he was in the middle of a meeting that was, taped, he said that, they're going to ruin him.
Yeah.
I can't do it. I can't do it. And it's okay. I get it. And there's a lot of other people out there, what's his name? David, what's his
Hasselhoff?
name? No. He's the guy with the bow tie.
I'm sorry.
The guy with the bow tie.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, shoot.
can't remember his name.
Well, we'll come back to that.
All right. We'll go to next, Frank. I forgot what I have next, but
I want to say Conklin, but that's not it.
go ahead.
Just a quick one. So maybe you probably just, you already went over it, but
Good.
you understand the difference between the placebo versus the retrospective study.
Yep.
Can you conduct that yourself with, are you able to do it? You have $20,000 up. Do you think that that's something that you'd be able to even?
No.
I mean, it costs a lot
Well,
more money than that, but
right,
would you
'cause
even be able to conduct a
I-
study like that on your own?
I don't do that for a living. Like the professionals have to
What
do that.
would you
right?
need
That's
to
what the
do
Henry
that?
Ford.
Well, it'd be
group
kind of
did.
hard to do
That's
it
what
too because you'd
Dr.
have to have
Thomas did.
completely
Peer
unvaccinated.
reviewed. It's got
Yeah.
to be. It's a whole.
Yeah. It's
So what?
that's not something
My
you learn
question
overnight.
is, what do you demand to be done? Education, obviously, but how can you demand somebody to do that study? Who's going to do it?
So
And nobody
our-
will do it.
RFK Jr. is now doing it.
Right, he's pushing for it.
My son went to RPI, right? A couple of weeks ago, he sent me a thing where RFK Jr. is giving a grant to RPI saying, we want you to look into the root causes of autism and let them figure out how to do it. They're professionals. Let them do it.
Yeah.
I've never done that stuff.
Do you trust it?
Well,
Will they put out the right information?
who knows, right? We'll see.
Well, in
I-
that inconvenient study, that's what happened, right?
Right.
They found that
Right.
it was bad, and then they
And they
didn't
don't wanna publish
they
it.
didn't
They
They
publish
didn't
it.
Yeah.
Right.
So RFK is paying for it. So if he's paying for it, I'm assuming he's going to get it. You know what I mean? I do know somebody who works at HHS, right? Who works with things. And, I give him all this anti-vax stuff, right? Which I call the anti-vax side, the pro-science side, by the way. And he says to me that, they hate RFK, for even talking about this stuff. And
Yeah.
he'll ask them questions that I've kind of given him. And he's like, these people what are you, an anti-vax? Like they get down on him for doing it. So this is definitely entrenched. It became political. And the problem with something becomes political, people go they're going crazy over, White House renovations. A gazillion times there have been White House renovations because Trump's doing it.
Yeah.
And then, or they say, Obama's golfing, blah, 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 but Trump golfs and they're fine with it.
Yeah.
So because it became political, half the people are letting their politics stand in the way of the health of their kids, which I have no idea
It's a shame.
how you let that happen, but
It
it
shouldn't
happens.
matter what party you like or agree with. If somebody's trying to help your kids, taking food dyes out, like anybody with any common sense has to know that.
You see what
It's
they've tried to do with
deeper.
RFK. They're
It's
trying
deeper.
to impeach him. They're trying to do all sorts of
Right.
stuff.
It's
Make America healthy
So
again.
it's deeper.
How
Next,
can
I would
anybody
not
see
I was going to
that.
show you a
past
video.
that, right?
Should we skip it?
No, I mean,
No, let's see. Watch the video.
Just to
We got
finish
time.
off, but I'm just gonna walk out. The point of me asking that question is, what can people do if we know this information, we have it, we feel this way? What can people who don't have that power do? We
Well,
know it.
I
Besides
can
just
tell you-
not
I can
getting
tell you what I'm doing.
vaccinated. What about?
I can tell you what I'm doing.
Right.
I'm telling everybody I possibly can. I drive around the
And
billboard
just
truck.
keep pushing
I'm
it,
doing
right?
videos. I'm doing
Yeah,
podcasts.
just keep showing
I'm
and
doing
talking.
everything I possibly can. The high wire is highwire.com.
Yeah, it's all been true, right?
with Del Bigtree.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He does it. Like, we're all doing our thing to get it out. The main thing we needed RFK in. We need him doing the science. Now, listen, there's a mountain of evidence showing vaccines are all harmful. But what they've done is they've consistently, undermined every doctor that's done those studies. That's why RFK is doing new ones. Okay. So, in the end, we need RFK's studies to happen. And we need to drop the politics, man. Drop the politics. This is the health of our children. Right? This is the health of our children.
And this is the first administration that actually is looking at it. Right. And it's not that I'm a Trump fan or I am. It doesn't matter. It's not about politics. It's about the health of our children.
It's funny because this almost sounds like a tree hugger argument, right? And yet the people who are in the conservative side are actually more aligned with this common sense view. And in the past, I mean, I would look at, I wanted to do my part. I was driving a Prius for how long, right? 53 miles a gallon. I was happy with that, and I got out and I hugged a tree. I was feeling pretty good about that. But the beauty for me is that we're seeing the group that has kind of moved more toward the middle, and common sense has been the case, is the one that's actually looking to improve on our standard of living and so forth. But the other side, which I hate to say sides, has this tendency to be more criminal.
Nasty.
I hate to say it.
It's like crazy.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't want to get into politics on purpose. And I'll tell you right now. So my oldest is 25. He's gonna be 26 next week. Happy birthday, Cor. So I've opposed vaccines for 26 years, and I would have opposed them if Republicans support them.
Right.
I oppose them. Democrats support. To me, this is apolitical.
It has nothing to do with politics.
Right. It's just they're all. You saw Bernie Sanders.
Yeah.
They all got money.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I wouldn't doubt it.
And I voted all Democrat my life. So for me, looking at how things have changed a lot, I mean, it's not about politics anymore. It's kind of about standard of life and how to kind of navigate, and watching things happen that just don't make any sense. Yeah. So.
So next, I got a video. It's not the one I showed you, Frankie, but it's just another one. A couple parents speaking.
You got to see these things.
Listen to the parents, man. Again, they have no reason to lie. Go ahead.
Well,
no, these are no.
But the thing with that is, I mean, listen, that's just one parent in a million.
I know. A lot of these parents, Frank, have video of their child walking, looking at a camera, blah, 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 and then they get a shot and they never look at a camera
and they look
again.
like a rat that's been given rat poison.
And for any other injury other than vaccines, it would be considered a smoking gun. And if you replace the word vaccine tonight and you replace it with antibiotics saved, gazillions of people, right? One of the best discoveries of all time. Right? No doubt about it. But if I'm sitting here saying, hey, antibiotics cause autism, there's no emotional response to that. People are like, oh, really? Show me the evidence.
Right.
But they're upset when you say it's a vaccine.
You say vaccine, it triggers an emotional response, but you say antibiotic. So, don't be emotional. Just look at this logic. Go ahead. Right. And this is another one, 3 minutes. I tried to keep the videos short. So, you know what I mean? I want the camera on Frankie as much as possible. The eye candy.
The eye candy.
Monica's the real eye candy.
One more?
Yeah, one more.
Father raising a 15-year-old, severely autistic, nonverbal teenage daughter. When she was 15 months old, she received a round of vaccines that included the MMR and the DTaP. She developed a high fever. When the fever broke, she lost everything.
My daughter was 6 weeks old when I took her in for her vaccination. 2 hours later, she had a 5-minute seizure. And 2 hours after that, she had another 5-minute seizure. Mom is here. Come on, come on. Come on, you're okay. You're okay. Come on, baby. Come on, babe. Come on. You can do it. Come on, babe. Come on out. Come on. Come on, baby. Come on. Keep breathing. Come on. Come on, come on, come on. The vaccination gave her severe brain damage, and she had seizures every day for the rest of her life until she died in my arms at the age of 15.
There is no good reason to choose not to get a vaccine.
He got his MMR and he got his DTP.
and within days, he stopped talking.
Projectile vomiting, convulsions.
He went blind in his left eye.
Vaccines took our healthy, happy baby and made him unwell.
She lost all acquired speech.
He lost his speech. He lost his eye contact, like the flick of a switch.
If vaccines were unsafe, I think this would be an interesting and reasonable discussion.
Obviously, some minority get hurt by this stuff. I don't understand why this is controversial.
Vaccines are safe. Get vaccinated.
It's like, you know what? Shut the fuck up and let me take every vaccine that Merck wants to shove down my throat.
Autism is not a side effect of vaccine, or to say it another way, because some people don't hear this well, vaccines do not cause autism.
Hear this well.
Hear this well. Please hear this well.
Hear this well.
Vaccines can and do cause autism.
My grandson, daughter Lily,
and my daughter. My son was fully vaccinated.
My son Jackson.
I had a healthy, typically developing boy.
Please hear this well.
Vaccines cause autism.
One day everyone will know the truth about vaccines. Hear this well.
All right, that was 2 minutes. So, some people are looking at it saying, I could do that same video on measles, but yes, you can. You can. But the difference is that we have no evidence that any given vaccine does more good than harm. As a matter of fact, all the evidence that is available is that vaccines do more harm than good. And if we look at vaccines reasonably, do real studies on them, see what the real side effects are, then maybe, you know what? Maybe we're not giving kids a chickenpox vaccine. Or at the 2 month, next we're going to go into the childhood schedule, right? There's not been a wild case of polio in the United States since 1979. It's been 46 years. Your chances of catching polio in the United States are statistically zero. They give that polio vaccine to children at the 2 month visit, along with the DTaP vaccine and several others. They give 5 to 7 at once at the 2 month visit, okay? Mm-hmm. Maybe if we had the science on vaccines, real science done, we delay the polio vaccine. Hey, there hasn't been a case in 46 years. I don't think that kid needs it at 2 months, right? And oh, by the way, the same vaccine given to a 200-pound man is given to a 5-pound baby. Right? They're not body weight adjusted other than the COVID shots.
So now what if somebody says, though, that the reason why there is no polio is because of the vaccine?
That's just not true. If you look at, go ahead, Frank. We're going to show you.
The next
That's
one.
a good question because I'm pretty sure it's the next chart.
I think I had this conversation with Gio.
Did you?
Yeah.
Vaccines didn't save us. That's the bottom line.
I saw
I think I saw this chart too.
They
It was
did.
like it was almost eradicated by the time the vaccine came out. Is that what we're going to?
You know, it's not that. It's coming up though. It's in here. It's not. We'll get to that one.
Okay.
Yeah, I think
I have graphs for you.
All right. No
he
problem.
also mentioned something about DDT being sprayed.
Yeah. There's all sorts of stuff
And
about
so-
Arrow down.
So
Is this it? Is this it, Frank?
No, you got arrow down.
Father.
No, hit down again. Down again.
Down again.
Okay. All right. Let's hit COVID, and then I'm going to get to your
go ahead.
question,
Yeah.
but we'll get to
Oh
okay.
boy.
So here's COVID.
Oh boy.
I could tell you a million lies about COVID, a million, but I picked this one on purpose. Okay. How long have they been working on vaccines for coronavirus? Coronavirus is a common cold. Okay. How long have they been working on vaccines for coronaviruses, Frank? The answer's on the screen if you want to see it.
60 years.
Over 60 years. Good answer. That's pretty good, though. I'm surprised you were able to figure that one out. Okay. Now, just think about it this way. We have a flu shot, right? An annual flu shot. Mm-hmm. Have they ever, Frankie, question for you, have they ever developed one that stops transmission?
No.
No. You know they haven't, because if they did, we'd be getting an annual cold shot, just like we've been getting an annual flu shot. Okay? Monica, so when did they know that the COVID shots wouldn't stop transmission?
Before they even started development.
Before they even started development. You understand? And look at the news release. Look at from December 2020. At this time, data are not available to make a determination of how long the vaccine will provide protection, nor is there evidence that the vaccine prevents transmission of SARS-CoV-2 from person to person. Okay? December 2020. They knew.
That's from the FDA.
They knew, exactly. FDA news release.
So they can Google that and look it up.
Absolutely. All of this is from government sources. All of it. This is all government sources. I can show you a paper by Fauci where he admits everything except for before they started, right? So
well, they also waffled. I mean, I've seen I've seen what they said at one point, and then they went back and said, no,
They said it stops transmission.
right.
I'm going to show you that too.
Oh, they said it stops
Okay,
transmission.
good. Because I had people tell me, "Oh, they never said it
Oh,
stops
no,
transmission."
I saw them say it.
That was
I've seen the videos.
That was
David
the number
Martin.
one lie.
David Martin.
Oh, yeah.
You know
okay.
who
I know
Dr.
David Martin.
is.
So the reason that was such a big lie is because the transmission thing is why they said, okay, we know that COVID is the sniffles for little Susie, but you know what? You got to give little Susie this experimental vaccine developed at warp speed by known felons because you got to help her. She's got to protect grandma. For the first time in history, we're using children to shield our seniors. Are you out of your mind? Using children to shield seniors? Anyway, it was a lie. And that was the lie that led to all the mandates, that led to people getting fired, that led to people, there was a kid in Poughkeepsie that died, right? A couple days after getting his second COVID shot. Right? Yeah, at Greenville soccer fields. Same soccer fields my kids play. If you go down there, the pavilion's named after that kid, okay? Kid died a couple days after a second COVID shot, okay? Heart attack. They knew. And I'm going to show you too how they knew. Go next. Next, we're going to look at the safety test. Down arrow. Yeah, down arrow. All right. So this is the safety study they used to fully approve the Comirnaty shot. Okay. So what they did is about 22,000 people who got the vaccine, 22,000 people got saline. True placebo. Okay. And what they found is that one person died in the vaccine group of COVID and 2 died in the saline group. So there was 100% more deaths, 100% more deaths in the saline group. Therefore, the vaccine's 100% effective. You believe that garbage? All-cause deaths, though, 21 in the vaccine group, 17 in the saline group. What they found is those extra deaths weren't like car accidents. They were heart attacks, okay? So their own study showed that for every person saved from COVID, they killed 5 by heart attack, okay? And in the end, look at this. Do those look statistically significant? Right? Are those big numbers? No. Those aren't statistics. This is what they used to fully approve that vaccine, and this is what they mandated on people, right? They pushed it on people knowing that they could possibly be killing 5 by heart attack short term. Forget long term. We don't know what the long term effects are yet. Short term, they knew that they'd kill 5 by heart attack for every one saved from COVID, and they pushed it out anyway. Next.
Wow. That's
crazy. Next. What happened there? Oh, my thing's missing. Oh, my chart got messed up. All right, move on. Okay. So what this is, I had to do this. I had to put this in here because I have people who legitimately said to me, oh, they never said it would stop transmission. Because remember the fake news did that? The fake news, they started saying, we never said it would stop transmission. Let me ask you a question. I come on your show and I could slip a lie in here, right? And you guys would never know. Okay, maybe it's buried in one of the comments. Okay, but if I came in here and I said, hey, listen, Frank, you need to buy 30 new Speedos because I want to see you in a Speedo. Because every day in January in New York, it's going to be 90 degrees and you must be wearing a different Speedo, not 30, 28 days in February.
Right.
You got to buy 28 new Speedos, right? Because every day in January, it's going to be 90 degrees, right? What kind of psychopath do I have to be telling him a lie that I knew that he would know with 100% certainty that I was lying in a couple months? You understand? It's a different type of psychopath. That's what Fauci and all the rest of them did. They came out, they lied.
Knowing
they lied
that they were going to come out.
And listen, they lied about a whole lot of other things. I'm not even getting into it. I'm just sticking with this one because this one, I have their evidence. Evidence. I have Fauci saying we've been working on vaccines for 60 years. We've never developed one that stops transmission.
Well,
okay.
Well, I have to ask you a question.
Go ahead.
I mean, you're familiar with David.
Yep, Martin. Yep,
Martin. How do you expect that okay, so you're over here and you're talking about what you're talking about, but David Martin is an expert in a number of different fields, and his statistical how he brought down a number of people in the mob and so forth. They think he's a quack. So how do you that he couldn't get anywhere with his information, and he's got solid gain of function. He's got everything that there possibly was. He knows exactly how it happened, and that it was never designed. It was never natural, number one, but it was designed, and it was designed for warfare.
Yeah.
So how if he's got that much knowledge and they still haven't done anything with that, how do you think we're going to fare?
RFK is our man. RFK is the man. We need RFK. We needed him. We needed him. All right, anyway, you can just run through these, right? But there's Fauci, right? Yeah, just bang through these. Bang. Look, Fauci, fact checker.
That's not showing up on the screen, Frank.
Oh, it's not showing up?
No, it's on our screen, but it's not on.
Oh, shoot. Okay.
This is what.
That's my bad.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Got you covered. Give me a second. Okay. Back up.
All right, listen, these last couple pages, we just run through them quick. All right, so Fauci, you become dead ends. Here's a fact checker, right? Fact checkers say you become dead ends. Go ahead. Protection from getting it and spreading it. Next.
It's still not on the screen, Frank.
Oh, it's not?
Not yet.
It's going to be. Okay. Biden, how about you make sure you're vaccinated so you don't spread the disease to other people, right? They lied. Keep going. Even Pfizer. Next one was Pfizer. Oh,
there it is. Now it's on the screen.
See, that's what happens, You always jump in the gun at a Frankie.
There's a delay.
All right. So next is Pfizer. Look, the ability to vaccinate at speed and gain herd immunity to stop transmission is the highest priority. They all lied. There's a big difference between being wrong and lying. They're liars. They were never wrong. They were always lying because they have decades of experience with coronaviruses and vaccines. They were never wrong. They were always lying. Next. This is the chart you talked about, Frankie, right? You see polio down the bottom, right? You see the death rate drops almost nothing. Then all of them, look, whooping cough drops like a stone, then the vaccine. Diphtheria drops like a stone, then the vaccine. Measles drops like a stone, then the vaccine. Now this is mortality. Death, not morbidity. Morbidity is how many infections, okay? Scarlet fever drops like a stone, goes away, no vaccine. Typhoid fever drops like a stone, no widespread vaccination, goes away. Polio, same thing, okay? Vaccines didn't save us, period, full stop. They did not. At most, they're responsible between 1% and 3% maybe of deaths, of prevention of deaths. That's what they did. I'm not saying they don't do any good. I'm just saying it's not as good as you want. Next. We'll run through this.
Yeah, the polio.
Okay, so this is the CDC schedule. And if you look at the 2-month visit, right? Look at that 2-month column. You see hepatitis B, rotavirus, DTaP, Hib, pneumococcal polio, okay? Those 5 or 6. Do you think they have any studies whatsoever showing that given those 5 or 6 vaccines at once is safe? No, none, zero. Zero studies, not a one. I saw a doctor. The ACIP is the Advisory Committee of Immunization Practices, where they decide what vaccines are going to be on the schedule, which ones are not. I saw a doctor ask, "Hey, do you have any study, given those vaccines from different manufacturers with different adjuvants, different ingredients, whether they react?" And they said, "No, we don't, but we do know that you should give them in different limbs because it's not like this arm, this leg, and this leg are connected at all." No, it's insane.
What?
That's what they said. That's what they answered. The answer to him was, "We don't have any evidence that it's safe, but we do know you should give them in different limbs."
That's insane. How do they know that?
Like it's not going to the same bloodstream,
It's crazy. Listen, there's a bunch of stuff on SIDS. You can move on. Okay? I like this. This is from the CDC.gov, right? Let your child try one single ingredient food at a time. Wait 3 or 4 days between each food. Go ahead, next. U.S. has the highest first-day infant mortality rate in the industrialized world.
The highest infant mortality rate in the world.
Yeah, first day. In the industrialized world.
Kids
basically
dying.
The first world. Okay? And we give the most vaccines at the early stages. Now, you actually recognize this. This is on the truck.
That's on the truck.
That's on the truck.
And this is what I show people.
This answers somebody that was messaging on here saying, "Oh, all of you guys are vaccinated on the show." And I was like, well, if you look here, that shows what we got, if not less than that. I don't think my mother was able to get me to the doctors. I might have had only 1 or 2, but that's how many it is in 2024. How many?
If you look at those, if you look at like the percentage of children that had these vaccines in like 1985, I got the 1985 statistics. It was between 50 and 60%. So there was like 40 to 50% that didn't even have those. Understand?
Yeah, because I don't think I got that many.
Look at what they're doing to kids. Look. This is insane.
Sad.
And it's insane. And which one of those 2 groups you think enjoys much better health?
Oh, definitely the one on
the 85 group. I'm sorry, the 86
group. 2024 group definitely has much better health. Guaranteed.
If vaccines work, they did.
All right,
So
now
I'll-
conjecture.
My thing is, if what is the U.S. ranked as far as health?
Oh, we know
Does
that.
anybody know? It's like 22nd or something like that.
Yeah, it's way down.
So if vaccines
I've
have
heard
been
the
working
number.
and these people are defending them, why aren't we the healthiest country if we give out the most vaccines?
Exactly.
And why are the other countries more healthy with less vaccines?
And where's the
Why-
pandemics
why-
at in the other
yeah.
countries that don't give vaccines?
Why are they not giving the same vaccines we are? Are their doctors anti-vaxxers? By the way, this page and then one more and then we're done. This page
Okay.
and then my 5,000.
All right.
So basically, here's a summary of what I did for you all tonight. Okay, I proved to you from government and pharma sources that there's a significant financial conflict of interest. That no vaccines were licensed based on long-term placebo studies. They intentionally, keyword, don't track the side effects accurately after approval. The combined schedule has never been safety tested. The chronic disease epidemic correlates to the vaccine schedule. Okay. From independent sources, I've showed you that vaccines are the reason. That's it. All of that. Now, I don't know if I showed you the chronic disease correlation, but it's from the CDC site. I may have pulled it out before I put thing, but I can prove that to you using government sources if needed. But you can look at the chronic disease rates on like the CDC.gov or whatever. You see them go up like crazy along thing. And then this is the last thing we're put up. This is my $5,000 vaccine safety challenge. Take a screenshot. And it would be very easy for me to come in here and show you one side, to leave things out, to manipulate the data, only show you the part of the court testimony. I showed you 3 minutes of court testimony. She may have provided other court testimony that was different. If you think that I'm doing that, I got I have $15,000 that says I'm not lying to you, and then some guy on the phone's got another $20,000.
Wow.
To prove us wrong.
That's all they got to do. That's why I messaged the guy. I said, listen, show it.
$20,000 to prove us wrong. Okay, take a screenshot of this and then put the last one, just because I put that on there, Frank, just for a goof. Hit
All
down
right.
arrow one more time, that's it. And then we're done.
You see his face right now. He's serious.
Of course
He's saying it. And there's a guy on here. He said, why don't you guys
That's it.
follow the science?
That's it. Would you do anything? That's it. Would you do anything for your child? Research vaccines. Remember what I started. My brother-in-law is a medical doctor. My brother is a chiropractor. Both of them have medical, in the medical field, and they both have nothing but the best intentions for my children.
Chiropractors don't rate in the doctoral.
Oh, here he goes,
Listen,
the devil's
I
advocate.
couldn't care less. Here's what I know. Chiropractors knew 40 years ago that vaccines are a scam. And medical doctors still haven't figured it out.
And
That much
there
I'll
you
tell
go.
you.
I think the chiropractors take more have more hours of medical schooling than do doctors.
I don't know about that. I'm just making the point that I have medical professionals in my family, and I love them both. Okay, but I looked. I'm responsible for the health of my children. Me. I am responsible for the health of my children, not my brother, not my brother-in-law. Me.
Right.
And that's what I'm telling you all. You are responsible. Do not listen to anybody. Read this stuff for yourself, because once you read it, you'll never vaccinate.
Now, I go to your brother once a
You can
week.
take that off.
Oh, we can go to a.
You can go to just
us?
listen. Just a solo camera on Frankie. It's all we want. The eye candy.
Do we have any comments?
Oh, yeah.
Any questions?
Yeah, this is I'm responding to this guy here, Steve Swars. He says that's not what he offered. If you want proof that vaccines work, just look around you.
I didn't say work.
Medicine works. Science is real. It's not pretty and all gets dark, but it doesn't mean it's all bad.
All right, I'm going to answer that one.
There you go. Here
So,
comes Steve.
I
Listen
did
up.
not say work, Steve. I will cede efficacy. Okay. I will give you that vaccines are 100% effective, every single one of them. Okay. I will cede that.
That it will
said
keep you
safe.
from what they're saying.
Yes,
right?
I'll cede that. I don't
it's causing other
I don't-
problems.
I don't argue efficacy, because there's absolutely evidence of efficacy. So what he just did is this. Let's say I say cigarettes help with weight loss. That's true. There's a ton of benefits with weight loss. Therefore, you need to start smoking 4 packs of
I'm
cigarettes a
going
day,
to start
Frank.
tonight.
And you say to me, well, what about the cancer? I say, Frank, you know what the benefits are of weight loss? You could, your heart will be better. This will be better. That'll be better. And you say, well, what about the cancer? And I say, Frank, cigarettes help you lose weight. You'll be off your diabetic meds and your ED meds. and all that kind of stuff.
ED meds? What the hell are those?
Erectile dysfunction.
Oh, erectile dysfunction.
So, you'll be
Thank
off
God I don't have that yet.
You'll be off your ED meds,
Bridget!
right? And you say to me again, but what about the cancer? So what's this guy's name? Steve. Hey, Steve, what about the cancer? What about the autism? I did not say that they're not effective. I will cede efficacy. I am telling you that they are dangerous. There's zero evidence of safety. Zero, none, nada, zilch. And there's a mountain of evidence that they are harmful. And of course, all that evidence that they're harmful has been, debunked because they attacked the doctors, like they attacked Dr. Paul Thomas, right? But the fact that they have no evidence of safety is proof that I'm right. And I'm willing to put my money where my mouth is. I got 20 grand.
There you
that
go,
says it.
Steve. All you got to do, you said follow. He said follow the science. Show us the science.
Show us.
Show
There's
us.
no evidence of safety. Forget efficacy. I will cede efficacy.
And so that's one thing that I have looked at a few times where it seems like it shows that, like, say the measles. Okay, you won't get measles, but now you'll have like heart failure at 25, or you'll have like autism or something else. So it's like
diabetes, right?
kind of like what you're saying with the cigarettes. Okay, yeah, we're good. You're gonna lose weight, but you're gonna die from lung cancer.
Right.
You're everything's gonna be bad. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, exactly. It's the same thing. I can't tell you specifically what the measles vaccine causes because there are no long-term placebo-controlled studies. There's no adverse events tracking system that's accurate.
Yeah.
Like the fact that I can't answer. Nobody can scientifically say that any given vaccine does more good than harm. Nobody, because the data doesn't exist, and it doesn't exist intentionally because they know vaccines do far more harm than good. That's why pharmaceutical companies will not distribute them without. That's your first. These pharmaceutical companies are known felons. Do you know that Johnson & Johnson sold baby powder with arsenic in it, knowing that it would cause cancer in women? You understand? They caused cancer in women on purpose, selling not arsenic. The stuff brake pads are made out of asbestos. They sold baby powder with this, knowing it had asbestos in it. Okay, the pharmaceutical companies are known felons. They're all serial felons. The only one that's not a felon is Moderna, because the COVID shot was their first vaccine. The rest of them are serial felons, and those serial felons will not distribute vaccines without immunity from liability because they know they're dangerous.
That's the other thing that I'm like, if you know that vaccines are safe and you know they're not harming people, why wouldn't you accept liability?
And they have decades of evidence, billions of doses served, and they still can't distribute them without immunity from liability because they're dangerous.
You can't drive a car without liability, but yet you can give a vaccine to a child that hasn't been tested with no liability.
Yep.
That's crazy.
Yeah. And Monica laughed when I said the COVID vaccines. So, right, they're literally experimental vaccines developed at warp speed by known felons. And I say that like that on purpose so that people understand the absurdity of what just happened.
So we just had a child, right? She's 4 months old, and I remember the first. Thank you very much.
Takes after her mother.
Yeah, she does.
Sorry.
But when she came out, the first thing they came out, they wanted to put the stuff on their eyes.
Yep.
Right? Is that the K?
No, that's an antibiotic.
That's the happy.
Yeah, it's a K.
It's the vitamin.
No, stuff on the eyes is not vitamin K. That's the antibiotic.
Okay. Well, regardless, anyway.
So
we didn't want to do anything, right?
Yep.
So what happened was I asked the nurse that came in that said she wanted to give the baby vitamin K and said it's they're deficient in it and everything else, and I said, can you just tell me what it's made out of? Like what? So you're telling me like she's deficient in it. So are you getting it from another human or what? She couldn't answer. And I said, well, can you just tell me, like, is it from a plant? Is it from an animal? Like, what is it from? And she goes, honestly, I can't answer that. It's an artificial, like, vitamin K. I was like, so you don't think, I mean, like I said, I'm not a big believer in God or anything like that, but human beings been around for a long time. That maybe we're by design, we don't have that when we're first born. And then we've come to find out later on that it's in the colostrum that they get a lot of the vitamin K. I mean, as you start looking more and more into this, because once you see it, you can't unsee it.
I'm going to reword what you said differently. Okay. So a sperm cell and an egg cell meet, right? And then it divides, multiplies, blah, 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 and this baby is formed. And this baby takes every single thing it needs from the mother except enough vitamin K. Does that make one iota of sense to you?
Zero.
That makes, listen, I don't know the science behind it. I'm not making $20,000 challenges on this one. All I'm telling you is that from just a common sense standpoint, it does not make sense that if the baby needed additional vitamin K, it would have taken it from the mother.
It would have
everything
got
else.
It takes it all, right? And comes out
now,
perfectly healthy.
I can't, scientifically debate that like all the rest of this, like the vaccine stuff, because I haven't looked into it. But just my common sense.
I have friends having children and they're scared to death because they're like, they've been told their whole lives, vaccines are good. You look on the TV, vaccines are good. Every other commercial, and what you were saying, I was thinking about the other day, I'm like, every commercial is a drug. I was like, what in the world happened to this country? And I was like, I remember as a child, like not seeing all that. And then all of a sudden, and I had to say it was around 1990, or it's like I was graduating in 91. So it was around that time. All of a sudden I started seeing all of these ads for drugs. And I'm like, did something change?
I don't know when that law changed, but we're one of 2 countries worldwide that allows DTC, direct-to-consumer advertising. Us, and I think it's New Zealand, are the only ones. And they buy the media.
Well, in 86 is what happened then. 1986, Ronald Reagan. Isn't that when he made the companies not liable?
Correct.
Like pharmaceutical companies?
So back in 1986, the vaccine manufacturers were getting sued so often, there was only like one manufacturer left.
They were about to go out of business.
That made the vaccines, and they're going out of business. And so Reagan's like, I don't want vaccines to go out of business. So I'm going to give you freedom from liability. But one of the other things he did is, like, liability is why a lot of our products are safe, right? The reason, like, if there's something wrong with your car, right, they recall it because they don't want you getting in an accident and then you're suing them, right?
So car companies are liable.
Right. Car companies are liable. All these companies are liable. And lawsuits are the way we make things safer in this country, right? When they removed the liability for vaccine manufacturers, there was a clause in there. There was I forgot exactly what the clause was called, but every 2 years, the HHS was supposed to come back to Congress, Health and Human Services was supposed to come back to Congress and tell them what they've done over the past 2 years to make our vaccine program safer. Okay. I know the guy who sued the government, again, a FOIA response, said, hey, show us all this stuff, all the HHS responses over the last 2 years where you've shown how you've made vaccines safer. And you know how many they were able to provide?
None.
0. None. Congress didn't hold them to that clause in that law.
Wow.
Why? I don't know. You tell me.
Because they're getting paid.
Like, that's conjecture, right? When Frank says that is conjecture.
Yeah.
Now, I say it's because they're getting paid. I have people who tell me they're killing people on purpose.
How could you possibly, as a human being, allow that? Like, how could you allow that unless there is some kind of, I don't want to say compensation or something? There has to be. Are they holding their children hostage saying, okay, we're going to kill your kids unless you approve this or don't put it, come after us?
You got to wrap your head around the fact that they're harming our children on purpose, man. That's a tough pill to swallow.
I think that is part of the issue. And can I really say that's the truth? I mean, it's kind of like when you hear noises and it sounds like a cat outside and it is a cat. That's a poor analogy.
I
Usually
know.
it walks like a duck, talks like a
No.
duck.
I mean, it's actually a good one, but it's kind of weak.
Yeah,
it's kind of weak. But you know what I'm saying? It's true, but we can't prove it. I mean, it's based on what you'd like to think.
They know. We know they know.
Well, then it's a question of who's standing at the end.
Yeah. And when I say they, I mean the people who run, like your typical doctor doesn't know.
No.
Like your typical doctor's, handing out medications like popcorn, right? And if they were going to research every drug that they administered, they'd be research assistants.
That's not what I heard. Right. I think we had somebody online, and I know that's true. She said that
they can't possibly do it.
That they know everything about every single drug and every ingredient in the drug.
The doctors?
I can tell you for a fact the doctors do not know that because I asked
it was
the nurse what was in one ingredient, and she didn't know, and the doctors didn't know.
They know how drugs generally work, but they don't go back. What I'm saying is they know how these drugs work. They don't go back and revisit the safety studies that were done on Lyrica, right? They don't go reevaluate those safety studies to see if they're thing, right? Your typical doctor doesn't, because if they did, they'd be research assistants. right? Your typical doctor thinks he's helping people.
So are you telling people to not get vaccinated?
Now, I tell people, like, I want my choice, right?
Okay.
I want people to respect my
That's fair.
choice. So I tell people, you make your own choice. Because listen, those death rates weren't zero. I showed you those charts. They were going down. They weren't zero.
Yeah.
So you've got to be able to sleep with the decision you make.
Yeah.
Right? I just tell people the things I know. Vaccines are absolutely not safety studied. The data that's available shows that basically, vaccines do far more harm than good. The death from a vaccine or death from a vaccine preventable illness is rare. Okay. And you are more likely to die from the vaccine than the illness. But in the end, the decision's yours.
What about the study of, I think it was in the movie about the guy in Africa who did the study, the 30-year study.
Yeah. So just to explain that study to the people on the phone if they haven't watched it.
This is the movie.
Yeah, an inconvenient study.
Okay.
An inconvenient study is a great place to start. Thehighwire.com, they do a podcast every Thursday at 2:00. You can always, I never watch it live. I always watch it afterwards.
Perfect. Right before ours.
Yeah. So thehighwire.com is awesome. That's where I've learned a ton of stuff. If you go to my website, the first one was up there. There's links to all sorts of stuff out there. But the inconvenient study, they're talking about the DTP study. There were a couple of them. But basically, this guy went out to Africa. He gave the DTP vaccine to a bunch of kids. And, decades later, he was able to go back. And since he had given vaccines to like half of the kids in this particular group, he was able to do a vaccinated versus unvaccinated study. And what he found is the kids that were vaccinated were not dying of diphtheria, tetanus, or pertussis, but they were 5 to 10 times, depending on which one you look at, 5 to 10 times more likely to be dead overall. So the DTP vaccine saved those children from diphtheria, tetanus, or pertussis, but they made them susceptible to other illnesses that were 5 to 10 times more likely to kill them.
Yeah.
Right.
Wow. Oh my God.
Right, which is exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
From the very beginning.
Yeah, basically, okay, you're not going to get the measles or the mumps, but you're going to
die.
die from something else because your immune system is compromised. That's what's happening. I mean, how about they just stop them all together and then if it doesn't a vaccine, so like
well, that's not going to happen, and you know that.
Well, okay, well, it might, but say
RFK does the autism studies.
I could tell you if that autism study comes out
studies.
and they say, okay, well, this is the actual data, real science, they're going to have to stop it. But could you imagine the outrage of the parents and the people? What happens, like when he got on television and said Tylenol was the reason why this is happening. But you know what so like not everybody pays attention to everything. I'm a poker player, so I listen. And the first thing he says is, before he said that, he goes, if you look at the Amish, they don't have any cancer, they don't have any autism, they don't have any of these chronic diseases that all of us seem to end up having, a large group of people are having, and we're all vaccinated, and none of them are vaccinated. Then he goes on to talk about how like the Tylenol and what's in it. But it's like he didn't rule it out and say that it didn't. But I just thought about this. If he got on television and says, hey, listen, autism is caused by vaccines, what in the hell is going to happen in this country?
Trump essentially said it, by the way.
Yeah.
Right. Trump
That's
said
what
it.
I felt like he did.
And RFK has said it many times already, but not since he's been HHS secretary. The Amish, though, is tough too. You know what? They're not eating red dye 40. Like our food.
Yeah, our food's crazy.
There's plastic in our water. There's pesticides on our fruit. There's all sorts of garbage. They're poisoning us left and right. Right? Left and right, they're poisoning us.
We're still kicking.
There's asbestos in our, baby powder.
Yeah.
So
I know.
But
I'm trying to blame it on my weight gain. I'm like, I've been telling him for a long time. I think I had a shot.
You should start smoking.
I just started a juice cleanse today, so we'll see what happens.
Just
hopefully there's no vaccines in the fruit that they've been giving us now. Holy crap. I heard that too, that they're going to start vaccinating the cows and the fruit and the vegetables. Like what? What is the point in doing this? Like how can this possibly be rational?
And what's with the whole aspect of sterilizing everything, and then you've got then that botches up the immune system anyway. That's just. I mean, people are going to say, "Well, you don't sound very educated." Well, that's okay because the reality is it's not that I need to be educated to understand that. It's very very much common sense.
And
Not
is
so
the
common.
agenda
You okay?
population
It's been
control?
we did a long time. It was like 2.5 hours.
I stopped talking on purpose because I know we're going long. I can keep going. By the way, and just so you guys, just so you guys know, Ron Johnson had a thing on COVID, and they just talked
Who's
about
this? Ron
Johnson, Senator Ron Johnson.
Okay,
he had a thing on COVID. It was 5 hours just talking about COVID.
Okay,
right.
Wow.
I gave you like 1,000-foot level, on just essentially the safety studies behind this stuff. And
I mean, if you don't know, I'm only going to say from the perspective, because I know they're still doing studying on all that has to do with mRNA, and I'm still, my head is spinning about the whole thing because we came out of this absolutely absurd set of circumstances that we were sold a bill of goods, people dancing in the streets, people giving $100 at credit unions in order for you to get your shot, free donut, the joint. And I went back 5 times to make sure I could get my, it's crazy. I didn't.
Big Mac and fries?
I snuck below the radar a little bit on that whole thing.
I saw the one guy on TV saying free French fries if you got a COVID shot, and I was thinking to myself,
see what's the name?
Is that
Blasio.
even real? I could not believe that.
Safe and effective.
Like I was like, this has got to be crazy.
And you've seen
somebody that worked at the credit union. She goes, "Oh, I'm getting the shot tomorrow." I said, "What are you doing that for?" "Oh, they're giving us $100."
Right.
Why wouldn't I?
Yeah.
Jim Brewer.
Why do you need? If
That
something
makes
is that good for you, why do you need to why do you need to do that?
Right.
It doesn't make any sense. Just like if you go to a doctor's office, if I work for a pharmaceutical company and I know, Antonio, you're a doctor, and I go to you and say, hey, listen, I'm gonna give you tickets to the Yankees game, and I'm gonna give you a bonus, another $50,000 if you make sure all your kids are injected. Okay, well, like you said, maybe because they want everybody healthy. But what, I just don't, if it's that good, why wouldn't they do it? How about insulin? How come insulin isn't free?
There's a guy named Aaron Siri. He's my favorite. If you look him up, Aaron Siri, Ron. He's a lawyer who does
He's the guy.
stuff.
Yeah.
Aaron is
Aaron Siri.
Yeah, Aaron is the man. Man, I forgot what I was going to say about Aaron.
Sorry.
But he's another one of my, if you're going to look up somebody to listen to and look up Aaron Siri.
Aaron Siri.
He's the guy who's in the movie.
And I got
he's a lawyer in the movie.
Oh, in that movie, Inconvenient Study?
He's the guy.
Please, Frank showed me this. He told me about it the other day and said, you need to watch this before Antonio comes on so we can actually see. And I'm going to tell you, after the first 10 minutes of that, we were Bridget was almost in tears over what was happening to these kids. And it was just the story after story after story. And then it was showing how there is no studies. And all I could think of myself is, doing building and being construction, all these different things. You need so many studies to do anything in this world. You need so much insurance liability to do anything. How is it that something that is forced upon you to your child the moment they're born, how could they not take accountability or liability for what would happen if that child dies? And this is why I wanted this, right? I want this podcast because I want to hear and I want people to know in the local community what is happening to other people. Because where does somebody go? Let's say your child dies from a shot the next day. Where do they go to tell someone? The doctor's office?
So doctors are compelled to report vaccine adverse events in VAERS, okay? I will say this, at the beginning of the COVID fiasco, I talked to a doctor who was 70 years old. He didn't know what VAERS was. I talked to a doctor who was 2 weeks away from getting his MD. He was still doing, he was in the beginning, and he didn't know what VAERS was either. Okay?
Right.
These guys are mandatory reporters, and they didn't even know what it was.
Right.
Right. So
it's pathetic.
And that's intentional. They don't want VAERS to be accurate. And the way you don't make VAERS accurate is you don't tell the doctors about it. And then you make VAERS impossible to use and all the rest of this stuff. But one of the things Aaron always says is, if vaccines were good, you can convince people on the merits. You wouldn't have to coerce them.
Right. Exactly.
And on that note.
Yeah. No, I just want to share one other thing because once I said that we were going to do this. I do. No, because it's important.
No, it's okay.
It was a friend of mine who I do a lot of donations and thanks they help out with stuff. She messaged me and she says, my best friend's daughter died the day after she had a vaccine. And she's horrified, and it's just like she just doesn't know what to do or who to say. And that's what I'm saying. If you have these issues, who do you complain to? There's no even you can't call the police.
No, there's a National Vaccine Childhood Injury Act or whatever. I forget exactly what it's called, but it's a 1985 act. Did you see in Florida what they're doing is every SIDS case they're now checking last date of vaccination.
Watch what happens.
I was watching a show the other day. Not the other day. It was a few years. It was a few years ago now, where they dug up this mummy. Okay, from like 2,000 years ago, right? They dig this mummy up and they say something to the effect of, because this mummy's bones are pitted, he died of syphilis. I'm just making that up, but it was something to that effect. Okay? Yeah. They can tell us how a mummy died 2,000 years ago. They can't tell us how a baby died yesterday. They can tell us, was it their lungs? Was it their heart? Was it aluminum poisoning?
They can tell any of it.
They know exactly how every child dies. SIDS is, we don't want to tell you why your child died. If they cared about children, every SIDS case, they would do an autopsy on to see if it was a vaccine. Yeah. And in Florida, when the COVID scam hit, less and less people were getting their children vaccinated, and they did a preliminary study. It wasn't full, wasn't powerful enough, blah, 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 blah. They did a preliminary study, and what they basically found is that half of SIDS deaths were VIDS, vaccine-induced death syndrome.
Wow.
Right? They know.
Did they release that?
Yeah. It's available somewhere. If you ask me offline, I can.
Well, I heard Florida got rid of all vaccine
mandates. They're getting rid of all mandates, and they're gonna investigate the link between vaccines and SIDS. It's there. Sweet. I'm telling. And if you look at all vaccine preventable diseases combined, all of them combined, and you look at the general population, they used to kill about 1 out of 22,000 people a year. Okay. So that's the danger of anybody dying any given year from all of those diseases, all of them combined: measles, mumps, rubella, blah 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 blah. Okay, SIDS is like 5.5 out of 1,000. If half of them are from vaccines, right? That's 3 out of 1,000 deaths. Just SIDS. Forget autism, allergies, ADD, diabetes, all the rest of it.
Kids dying.
Just SIDS alone. We will save more lives in SIDS alone than we lose in people dying, because there will be people who die of measles, mumps, rubella. There will be.
Yeah.
Okay. But if death is your fear, data shows that you're much more likely to die of vaccines.
Well, the risk versus reward is the big key here.
Exactly.
And if you're going to end up having more problems over a period of time in being vaccinated, then to me it doesn't make any sense to get vaccinated.
Yeah, exactly.
But that's just common sense. But I mean, maybe I'm missing something.
Listen, I tell people all this stuff, and then they go out and they get their kids vaccinated, and they get the flu vaccine themselves, and they do all that kind of stuff. And I'm like, hey, listen, I get it. You listen to me for an hour, that's one thing, and your entire life you're like, vaccines are safe and effective, they've saved millions of lives, blah, 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 blah. It's tough to think, but that's why I tell people, don't listen to me, go look for yourself, go read the inserts, go read that webpage, go try to win the 20,000. Because when you try to win the 20,000, you'll have to look at data that proves my point.
When
I love that.
I remember when we first signed over to vaccinations with my my daughters at the time, and I remember that was the thing. You had to sign a piece of paper, like I don't know if it's a waiver, but whatever it was. But that's how nonchalant, right? And they showed you, well, this is the whether it was an insert or whether it was information, right? And I started looking at the information, and of course we're looking at each other, and we're going, what do you do? And of course we did, and nothing happened. But again, nothing happened doesn't necessarily mean that some of the quirks that some of the children have after the fact aren't because that was created at that particular time. I know in my case, you can splice it however you want. You can say, oh, it has nothing to do with that, or you can say, well, there's a possibility.
Well, we're gonna wrap this up. It's been a little over 2.5 hours. And we could talk for days. No, we really appreciate you, Antonio.
We don't have a time limit here ever.
We really don't. And I'm glad that we did this and we actually put aside 2 hours for this, because I think this is probably the most important topic that we could possibly talk about, because our children are our future. We're only here on this earth for so long, and what better way to like ensure humanity by taking care of our children and make sure there's, and they're babies. They can't decide whether or not they get a vaccine. Here we are injecting them and doing whatever we want to their bodies. And if they get older, we're like, oh, I don't want a vaccine. It's too late. You've already been injected with hepatitis the day you were born, And I always, just as a growing up, I always thought to myself, I'm like, how is it possible that things like gonorrhea and hepatitis, how these things keep existing if we have vaccines? But I'm like, what if they just keep it alive by giving it to us? I mean, that's a whole nother thing, but that's where my mind went. Well, like, what, they just keep giving us a little bits and doses of it? Next thing you know, there's an outbreak.
The gift that keeps giving.
You should have. There was a doctor, Gert something, I don't remember his full name, but he was talking about vaccinating during the middle of a pandemic with the COVID thing and forcing mutations and all that kind of stuff. A lot of this stuff gets very interesting.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, next week on Thursday, we got Kenya Gadsden is coming on. Sorry about that. I'm sorry to botch your name a little bit.
Who is coming on? Kenya Gadsden?
So she's going to be talking about the importance of young people, 16 to 30, being involved in political process of electing voices, reflecting on what they want in their community, which I think is big. We got elections coming up, and we're going to have her on right before the election, because I think it also is important. And I learned that when Yvonne ran for mayor, is like how important it is for people to get out and run. When she was a 5th Ward councilwoman, there was only about 200 and something people that came out and voted when there was over 2,000 people that could have voted. And I thought to myself, the numbers couldn't be right. I was like, what is going on here? Only 200 and something people came out and voted. I thought everybody voted, even though myself for a long time, I didn't vote. So, I can definitely understand it. And I think it's great that people get involved and people start communicating and talking to each other. I'm going to recommend to everybody, though, out there listening, is like, maybe go, if you don't know your neighbors, go knock on your neighbor's door and talk to them a little bit. Just get, find out what's going on in your neighborhood, your community. That's all we're really trying to do. That's why I brought Antonio on, because he is a neighbor. He doesn't live right next door, but he lives kind of close by. But
around the block.
What I'm saying is, like, by talking to people and getting their experiences in life, we can also learn from each other, right? And we can figure things out and things that make sense. And if you don't have to agree. We could all disagree. There's things that you said that maybe I was like, a little on the fence about, but when I see it in black and white, and you're showing me stuff that the other side that is pushing this stuff is showing, it's just that they put it in those little inserts. It's like, I feel like it's like when you're when you're renting a car and they say, oh, just sign here, click here, sign here. And you're signing all this stuff, you're scrolling. And I did that recently and I got banged out for an extra $500 in Florida. And then I lost my mind. I said, from now on, I'm reading every insert, I'm going to read it all, because they put it all in that little writing. So you don't know.
It's like directions.
Huh?
You can read?
No.
Oh, okay.
I was going to bring you with me.
Hey, that's what you were supposed to say. That's what AI is for.
Hey, I went to Spackle, and I will tell you, you don't have to read anymore. But I'll tell you, that was the best thing that I ever did too. Was like, I think schooling is a very important thing, because I've been to 11 schools, and
it's funny. My first
kicked
note
out of a bunch.
My first note on my notes thing that I didn't say, I checked off most of the things. The thing I didn't say is, what doing your own research is? Reading.
Yeah, just read it.
Like we used to call it just reading.
I know, but I got you. I don't need to read it.
I read up on cars. Just read up on vaccines. Just read up.
Yeah.
And listen, I can't thank you guys enough, by the way, for getting me on.
Awesome.
I know it's a controversial topic. I appreciate the Frankly crew.
Yeah, that's all. We love you too.
I appreciate it.
Yeah.
I'm glad I sat next to Monica.
Oh yeah, and today's show is brought to you by Mag Auto Corp. Once again, they are who we are doing our Stuff the Truck with tomorrow. If you want to stop by 44 Plaza, please come by. We're doing a Stuff the Truck from 10 a.m. till 2 p.m. Saturday and Sunday, right in the 44 Plaza. We're collecting all kind of stuff for Thanksgiving. We're stuffing, potatoes, gravy, all that kind of good stuff. Even if you have turkeys, we can take them and we have a freezer to put them in. Emiliano's usually hooks us up with that. But we're going to be getting a lot of food with Mag Auto. We do it every year. Mag Auto, Stuff the Truck. That's on Route 44. Go down and see Poppy. Everybody knows Poppy. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Poppy.
I ran behind
Hey,
on that.
good credit, bad credit, no credit. You go down there, they'll give you a car.
You get it.
You know what I was waiting for you to say, right?
What?
Brought to you by Pfizer.
Well, this definitely wasn't brought to you by Pfizer. And our other great sponsor, TJ's Pizza in Poughkeepsie, 595 Main Street, Poughkeepsie. I love this guy, Sammy Daly, over there. I love your brother. He's like a big brother to me. He helps me out. We said we needed some help on the show here, and he said he wants to help out because he wants the community to just have a voice and talk to one another. So anybody wants to be a sponsor, you can reach out to me or reach out to Frankly Speaking. Our phone number's on there and our email's on there. And if you have any show ideas or you want to be on our show or our podcast, we invite everybody. And we like to hear both sides. I have no problem with, disagreeing, and we can agree to disagree. I love that. And we want to hear you.
I do want to say one thing politically, right? Some of the nicest people I know that want nothing but the best for the entire world are Democrats.
Yeah.
And you know what? Some of the nicest people I know that want nothing but the best for the world are Republicans.
Yeah.
Don't ever let them do that. Never let them stop you from talking to people, right? They stop people from talking to me. They stop me from talking to people, right? That's why I drive the truck. Don't let them stop you from talking to your neighbors.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see if this video, when we upload it, gets censored.
Yeah, I know, right?
I'm serious.
Could you
I was
imagine?
thinking about this, and I was thinking, hey, listen, I can tell you right now, I feel whole at heart, and I don't have any intentions of offing myself. So if anything happens to me, folks, all I got to say is
I am not at all suicidal.
No, sir. No, sir.
Not at all. I mean, I love my life. I love my kids. I love my family. I am not trying to die. So if for somehow miraculously I get,
we don't know who did it.
You find me hanging in a closet somewhere, I definitely did not do that.
If Frank dies suddenly.
Yeah, I know. But no, we want to really thank you, Antonio Mazzarelli, for coming by. Your brother. I was trying to get John to come out too because I love John. I go up there and get adjusted every once in a while.
Gio.
John Mazzarelli.
Johnny, Giovanni.
Giovanni,
His full name's Giovanni. We call him Johnny.
Yeah, Johnny.
Yeah,
Giovanni.
Giovanni Franco.
I saved Johnny for Johnny Rossi.
He married like
Johnny.
the daughter of like Switzerland or something, right? He married
Esther's great.
yeah.
Esther, she's now a citizen. She
Oh, she
married
is?
him only for his citizenship.
Is that what I thought? I knew it had to be something.
Yeah,
He is a
it's-
good looking
it's
guy
been-
though.
It's
I heard
been,
she's- I heard-
16 years, but it'll never last.
Yeah.
I heard
No, I love it.
She's a staunch supporter of this whole movement.
She supports us. I can tell you, my side of the family, staunch supporters. We are, listen, all the Mazzarelli kids all got thrown out of school.
Wow, love it.
All right, I'm going to put on the intro, which is actually the outro.
Or the outro. Yeah, now we're done. Hey, thanks everybody for listening. We'll see you next week.
See ya.
Take care.
So you're Frank,
And you're Frank.
and together we are Frankly Speaking.
Your party at the door, bring it